Sounds like they are going to start rolling the dice to see who's gonna to start objective selection.
You heard that right, folks. It's the Grand Champion finale. For RMO, we have Zack Gibbs playing Republic, coming in hot with an Arc Double Commando.
Yeah.
Anakin list against Tony's Shadow Collective, Triple Mando, 1 Black Sun, 2 of the AA5 trucks, Gar Saxon, and 2 Pike Capos. Big wide Shadow Collective list there for Tony.
Mm-hmm. Tony has a 3-act advantage in this matchup.
13 activations is just monstrous. I really felt that disparity.
10. Yeah, versus the 10. Yeah.
Zack coming in with 2 DP-23 Clone Trooper Infantry squads. 3 squads of ARC Troopers, all equipped with the Clone Commander, and then 2 squads of Commandos as well to really round out the 3 squads of Commandos. Oh, he went for the 3-3-3.
Yeah,
the Republic Classic.
That is what he called. He called the list Anakin 3-3-3.
Yep, the 3-3-3. He and I are actually in on the same squadron for our team league currently, and so he did some cooking in our group chat with this list, and he took something very similar to this to victory in our last round of the league. So Zack has definitely got the chops with this list. He's got the reps. I think he's going to be looking pretty strong here. I think the biggest thing Tony's going to have going for him is the activation disparity. Pass tokens can alleviate that a little bit, but once the late game rolls around and the value of those pass tokens starts to drop off, turns out having a lot of activation still pays dividends.
Right, they are currently selecting, doing all the turn 0 shenanigans.
We should shortly see each of our players flip their advantage, and whoever's got blue decide which objective they would like to reveal first. Tough path to victory here for both players. Tony's had some tough games. Just had a very close one against Chris last round, also playing Republic. And Zack has had a rough go of the weekend as well, needing to take Dustin down in order to advance to the finals where he is now, which is no small feat. So we've got 2 scrappy players coming in hot for a final match here. Yep. It looks like our blue player has decided to flip primary first and has ended up with close the pocket and sweep and clear in our secondary.
And I think they've already chosen what they're going on. They're just
inputting.
Yeah.
So
all right. So
our turn 0 flop is done, and this is what we're playing, guys.
It looks like I can show you what we've got going on here. So we've got close the pocket, sweep and clear, cunning deployment, and cunning deployment. So those cunning deployments basically just cancel each other out.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of dodge tokens floating around on turn 1.
So cunning deployment just gives the...
the free dodges, but I think this is actually going to pay dividends for Tony here. Those pikes with Independent are going to be generating a fair amount of dodges anyway, and picking those dodge tokens off of pikes can be difficult once they reach a critical mass of 2 or 3 dodges. It just doesn't feel worth shooting them anymore. Zack does have 3 squads of Commandos, which of course are equipped with high-velocity sniper rifles, which should alleviate some of this dodge token spending, but I'm sure Tony's going to deploy relatively conservatively in order to preserve those Mando wounds and keep those valuable red-saving activations healthy for the mid-game.
Right, so looks like Zack is our red player and Tony will be blue player. I am joining at work.
And we're starting to get some of our POI placement out of the way here. Close the pocket, of course, is one of the scrappiest primaries, consisting of only 3 POIs, 1 in the center of the table and 1 on each flank midway up the long side of the board. So I think both players would have included this in their primary deck. Tony's list is very close quarters oriented. Mandos, of course, have the capability of engaging at range 3 and beyond with their rifles and rockets. But those Black Sun definitely want to get in, come in hot swinging.
So our deployment is going to look approximately like we are on close the pocket. So we're going back to the close the pocket. Close the pocket is something that we've seen a lot of this weekend. And keep in mind, my overlay is just approximate. They're going to have a much more precise thing on the board.
Yeah. Our players, of course, being on the table and not having a superimposed card, are going to be able to more precisely place our POIs. But just so everybody can get a general idea of what we're looking at here, this is a very narrow objective. It tends to favor lists that want to brawl and close quarters engagers. So if you're playing a gun line and you close the pocket, you might want to think twice about that.
I feel like this might be in Zack's favor a little bit, because close the pocket definitely encourages the lower act count, but better
higher quality troops.
Right, it is definitely going to favor the close the pocket and capturing that center point and sticking on it.
Absolutely agree. In terms of firepower distribution, Zack is very heavily front-loaded with the arcs and Anakin. He wants to get in there and start swinging as soon as he can. Tony's got a little bit of a dance he needs to do. The Mandos can engage at range 2, but that does not mean they have to. He's going to want to use those jetpacks and that mobility advantage to get optimal shots while reducing his exposure to retaliatory fire. Tony is an expert at this. He's been playing this game since day one. Mandos are, or at least at one point, were his specialty. He's cooled off with the Mandos a little bit, but he has circled back for RMO, and it is paying enormous dividends for him.
And we are looking at, so the secondary being sweep and clear, could actually be another one that favors the person with the lower act count, because scoring points on being able to finish off activations and finish off units, that's I think gonna lean a bit towards the beefier, smaller act count.
Yeah, I think Tony and I actually played sweep and clear yesterday during our match, and he did very well with sweep. Or I'm sorry, we played Bring Them to Heal. I lied, we didn't play sweep and clear. But yeah, sweep and clear is going to be fantastic for the fast-moving engagers. They're going to be getting the potential for that big 2-point friendly territory or enemy territory score swing, which can absolutely win games on the secondary.
And we just got the call that the clock has started. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the RMO finals are underway. With POIs and deployments settling in here on the board, we should start seeing our first deployments imminently. I think Tony's going to go for the Saxon 3-pip here to open up. Actually, he'll probably go for aggression, I think. I think he wants the orders on the buses, so I assume he'd go for that. And I think Zack will probably go for some order control as well, wanting to optimize those clone commando deployments to try to get those cheeky turn 1 infiltrate, aim, shoot shots. Commandos are fantastic at that.
Yeah. But what's going to be interesting for the sweep and clear, I think the Mandos have one of the their high speed and good lethality makes them a good opportunity to score those double points.
If Tony can leapfrog his Mandos effectively enough through some of this line of sight blocking cover and roll some good saves, he absolutely stands a good chance to score the secondary, which in 2.6, secondaries win games. You got to score often and score early, so anytime you get the opportunity to do that, be it secondary or primary, that's what you should be looking to do.
Yeah. Looks to me like that left side of the board is going to be favorable for Tony, and so I expect we'll see him start piling some Mandos into there.
I'll be fascinated to see how Tony deploys here, actually, because over the weekend I've seen him. He's been blitzing. He runs the bus. He puts one Mando in one bus and then the Black Sun in the other. And with order control on both on turn 1, you have 2 very threatening units that are going to have all the tokens they need to come out and really put the hurt on you. And Tony is an expert at zeroing in on those targets of opportunity. Zack is one of our newer players, as a matter of fact, and he is out here showing his chops, coming out here swinging with the best of them at RMO. Looks like we're getting a few complete the mission tokens set down. Zack trying to think ahead here.
And looks like we are starting,
We
going
are
to the card
underway.
selection.
Look at
for
this, folks. We
turn
got command
0.
cards. Let's go. All right. Looks like we have a hero of the Clone Wars
3-pip and 3-pip.
Yeah, against a aggression. So this is Anakin's 3-pip. This is Anakin's power-up card. Most often I think you see this turn 1. Unless I'm mistaken, this still provides Anakin with some reliable 2 action.
Looks like
To generate those surge tokens independently, just to become even more of a menace once he gets engaged, which for Anakin is not difficult these days. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that Zack is throwing those orders on Anakin and 2 of the commando squads, which of course have target 1 and will receive some aim tokens for their trouble. But no surprises? Yeah, go ahead, Xander.
Tony putting orders on the buses. And of course, the nice thing, all the questions, I think you choose to order, you choose to give the order to the people that they are transporting, even though that they don't get as many tokens, but that order control is very nice.
For Shadow Collective, there is a decision to make, obviously because you don't get those independent tokens. I'm sorry, guys, that's not Hero of the Clone Wars anymore. It's called General Skywalker.
Yes.
And he doesn't get reliable 2.
It's Inspired 2 this round.
Yeah, and when Anakin Skywalker issues an order to a unit with his card, that unit gains 1 aim token. So, even better. All right, so let's see here. I would assume Zack is using that to power up some of these commando shots. So, with target 1 and the effect of General Skywalker, these commandos are going to be deploying with Infiltrate with 2 aim tokens, and that is terrifying.
Yeah, and that is probably he's going to want to hold those till later in the round to see what targets Tony gives him.
Commandos do have Impervious, but I tell you what, if you want to kill them, you just have to make them roll dice enough. Those Mandos will die. And Commandos, I think that's going to be their target of opportunity.
I would assume,
but Tony is so crafty with using the buses as line-of-sight blocking pieces that it can be very difficult to get shots on the things that you want when playing against this list.
Although I will say, those... of course, Tony has a lot of naked pikes, and though those naked pikes aren't the juicy targets, clone commandos are very good at taking out those targets with the high velocity.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I think if Zack can properly evaluate the pikes as Tony's weakness here in terms of most available, most vulnerable units, I think Zack is going to be able to cheese out some nice targets or shots, opportune shots here on turn 1. So.
Oh yeah, we should say Xander on mic and Gus next to me on mic. So,
oh yeah, hi guys.
So Thunderfell, you called it right.
It's me. Yeah. We're just checking out the chat now. Sorry guys. Zack is a fantastic player. He's one of our newcomers. I would say this season Zack has come in hot. We've had a few guys coming in making waves, and Zack has emerged as one of the premier Republic players of 5280 here, taking himself all the way to the finals here. So we are very excited to get some new blood in the RMO champion circle.
Just makes 5280 Legion scene just that much more competitive. Like, oh god.
Oh my god.
When am I ever going to win a tournament again?
It stresses
Probably never.
me out when new guys show up and they're good. It's like, oh man.
No, we love it.
No, we do. That's what keeps us good, guys. I say it all the time. You play with 5280, you get good fast. All right, looks like Tony's got all million of his independent tokens straightened out, and he and Zack are ready to rock and roll here.
And they are playing with the clock on this tie table.
Yep, that's true.
So
guys,
that's going to be a little bit, something that they'll have to watch out for, and something that a lot of players aren't hugely used to. So that's something they'll have to manage.
Yeah, we tend not to have a problem with pace of play here in 5280, but for tournament finals, we like to have a chess clock system in place just to keep everybody accountable. And It's good practice for other tournaments and systems that utilize chess clocks, and so we're always willing to try and push ourselves to complete these games in the most time and efficient, time friendly and efficient manner as possible. So chess clocks have been in play for the top 4 today. And if you haven't practiced playing with a chess clock, I recommend you do it. Even if you don't necessarily plan on coming out to a tournament, it can greatly improve your pace of play and makes getting through a full game of Legion a whole lot easier.
Yep, so we're just seeing some naked pikes move up.
Yeah, Tony's got a nice line of sight blocking piece there in the center that he's going to be more than happy to throw some of his cheaper small silhouette troopers behind in order to avoid some of this incoming hate from the inevitable commando shots. And Zack looks like he's pondering.
I think Tony just realized he might have made a mistake.
Okay.
He misdeployed them. He looked at because we're closed the pocket. It's the corners that are the thing, and he had a small instance.
Okay,
he thought it was the center, but
Tony
no, it's the corners.
He's playing Legacy Legion still and has deployed from the center of the board. That's okay. Zack, being as gracious as he is more than willing to let Tony redeploy and reconsider what he wants to do with his first unit of troopers here.
So now instead those are going to get moved up to the left side, and I think that left side with that building is going to be a pretty good spot for Tony.
I know Tony, he will definitely try to score that from under that awning or that balcony there if he can, and I don't blame him for it. That is a super safe spot just to contest and be annoying from, and I tell you what, naked pikes are the perfect unit to do that with.
Yeah. He will have to worry about the sideline here, but
oh my God,
that's
Xander, you got the John Madden going, dude. Yeah, oh, it's so good. This is a stream, people. We got a stream. Yeah. That's all I've ever wanted is to be John Madden with the yellow mark. Look at this play here. Look at these arcs. Look at oh my God, be amazing. All right, Zack responding in kind here with the deployment of what looks to be DP-23 clone infantry. Sort of taking a mirrored deployment there on the other end of the landing platform on the left flank here. Zack looks like he's deploying.
Yep. And then it sounds like Tony just pulled a capo, so we'll see a capo going out.
So Tony undoubtedly used aid during turn 0 to turn the capo's aims dodges into dodges for other units, and so you saw him start with a rally roll there for his capo. Which did not get the suppression off, but being a 2 courage unit has no problem just double moving in support of the pikes that are now hiding under the balcony on the left flank. So both of our players look like they're starting with designs on the left flank here. As Xander mentioned, that's a little bit of a jungle gym in there, which is probably going to favor the Mando engagement. Arcs are excellent brawlers coming in at range 2, but large pieces of terrain, like buildings and stuff like that, unless they're equipped with the jetpacks, they can struggle to find good angles to engage, even with scale. So Tony is definitely going to need to utilize the mobility of those Mandos if he wants to find the optimal engagement. Following the capo, we got Zack walking out another unit of clone trooper infantry here.
This looks like the naked one.
Yep, we got
C4 models there.
We got the token battery squad here coming in. Of course, clones being able to share those tokens. It always pays dividends to have one squad of clone troopers hanging out, just taking extra aims and dodges in case you need them.
Yeah. So as we're seeing here, the big tower in the center of the heights for this big tower in the center is that is height 3. So it's going to be tough unless Tony wants to leapfrog from the smaller tower to the bigger tower. Could be difficult for any of them to get on top of that.
And you know, the greater interaction with height in 2.6 as opposed to old Legion, I've actually found myself struggling to find line of sight often, where a unit can be nestled on the far end of a tall piece of terrain, and then I struggle to cheat an angle from below. So I love the amount of verticality that's been involved in being integrated into our tables and into the general playstyle of 2.6, because in a universe where stuff with jetpacks and Jedi can jump 30 feet, it's pretty sweet to be able to do that in-game. So we're all about it here in 5280.
It looked like some more clone troopers coming out, another DP-23. Clone troopers, that's what it looks like to me.
And it looks like Zack's trying to castle up on this left flank. Those DP-23s with Pierce 1 can trade up pretty effectively against red save units.
Yeah, even with impervious, Pierce is such a great thing against red saves.
Yeah, and with the amount of Pierce being present in 2.6, I would say across the board, there's less Pierce in 2.6 in the old edition. And so when you can get those shots in, especially on a unit like a Core Trooper Infantry with Pierce, you can get guaranteed value most of the time, which that wins games, people.
Yeah.
That wins games.
Looks like Tony just pulled his second commander, and I feel like that's not going to be great. I imagine because that's going to have to be Gar Saxon
He
now.
has
I
two
think.
capos.
Oh, he has
and
two capos.
Yes,
Okay.
Shadow Collective has the
Yeah.
third commander slot, and he's going to save Gar. No questions asked.
He rallies off the aid there. Okay, yeah, I didn't see that he had that. So he'd have to pull a third commander.
Yes, he has a third commander token in the bag that will inevitably be Gar
right.
Saxon.
It does say ×2 on the Pike Syndicate capo. I just can't read.
Yep. It threw me off. When I played Tony yesterday, I had to ask him 3 or 4 times. I was like, wait, how many activations do you have? What rank? Because Shadow Collective is just so funky. You know, they have that weird force org chart, and they can do all sorts of weird things. And I'll tell you what, 13 activations is still a lot. Tony taking conservative deployment with the capo here. No surprises. Trying to get his token generation and courage into a central position on the board where it's not going to be at too much of a risk.
That does look like a potential juicy target for some commandos, though.
Definitely an angle there on the other side of the air control tower that the commandos are going to be able to.
Yeah, deploy it in here, taking shots through there.
Most certainly, most certainly. Both of our players here moving at a good clip on turn 1, talking through their intent as they deploy here. Looks like Zack went ahead and opted to use one of his pass tokens. He should have 2. Playing a 10 activation list against Tony's 13 activations until things start to die. Zack will have 2 pass tokens at his.
I believe he used one of the pass tokens right off because he won the roll. It looked like Zack won the roll for initiative, and so immediately chose to pass.
I like to do that too. So that's probably Zack's second pass token there, which means that we're now going to be going back and forth at an even clip. All right, Zack now contemplating the deployment on the other flank, maybe. Yeah, he is. He's coming in here. So with all of his core infantry on the board, we're going to be looking at a unit of arcs, perhaps. A lot of Zack's deployment on that flank is being eaten up by that starfighter. It's going to be difficult to maneuver around that starship unless you've got jump. So Zack might be putting himself in a little bit of a bind here. He might need to end up making some difficult terrain moves in the future here. Is this? What do we have coming down on the board here?
Models.
Is this a clone? That is another clone infantry squad. So maybe that unit, it looks like the unit on the far left flank there is in fact an ARC Trooper squad that came in and double moved and now has 2 aim tokens and their commander surge.
I'll go check.
Yeah, and their cunning deployment dodge. So we got some ARC Troopers hanging out over there on that left flank there. Sorry guys, with a whole pile of tokens. We should have known better after seeing those 2 aim tokens materialize. So there we go, guys. We see Zack's third core unit and second DP-23 dropping in the midboard there. Looking to split pressure between the right flank and the center.
Yeah, so just double checked. We've got an ARC squad sitting here. And then we have the, what is it called? The DP-23 clone troopers here, and then his naked clone troopers are here.
So Zack taking a pretty standard formation, I'd say here on close the pocket, right? Getting your CQC specialists positioned in between the two POIs to be able to split pressure is nice. Clone troopers love to ball up. They want to be in a big blob and share those tokens. So I think Zack's going to try to turn the left mid board here at the top of your screen into a little bit of a clone castle.
Yeah.
He's going to want to run the arcs in there and really just try to out-muscle Tony on the middle objective here. And if he does that, he might be able to bait the Mandos into position where they can actually be engaged at range 2, which is where the arcs want to do their business. It's where they do their best work. Being able to charge or shoot at range 2 with tactical, they will kill you.
Does look like Saxon has come out and hopped up onto that onto that tall landing platform.
Tell you what, even if Gar's offense can feel a little lackluster sometimes, he's an excellent mobility piece. Speed 3, jump 2 on a commander like that, it's awesome. He's a very unique piece, and I like the way Gar functions, so I'm glad to see him on the table.
Yeah.
Tony's undoubtedly going to be trying to cook up a nice little Gaylor rifle shot here. He's got good targets. He's probably going to shoot some clones.
Trying to see if it's looking at if he has a target down there.
Zack looks like he's zoning out one of his complete the mission tokens here, so Gar might be the one with the target on his back here as Zack looks to be dropping his first squad of commandos. Oh, this is cool. Okay, we got squad number 1 commandos infiltrating on top of the starship. Zack being very careful to deploy at range 1 of the complete the mission token.
Yeah, they're checking line of sight up to Gar Saxon. And it looks like sounds like that's going to be a no.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Tony's sitting on the back end of that landing platform is making it very difficult for something below him to cheat that angle and actually get a line on his sill. And Tony has done that very effectively all weekend with the Mandos. And it's just something we have to consider as we start playing taller and more dense boards and start taking advantage of the height to engage.
Yeah.
So our players, as all good players should, talking through intent. And
so it looks like those commandos will be able to get a shot on Gar Saxon if they want to, but they will have to pull away. They would have to deploy away from their token.
Okay, so that may change Zack's decision tree a little bit. In order to get that shot, he's going to have to eschew the surge to block, which can absolutely be the difference for clone commandos. Katarn armor only goes so far.
Because now that they are deployed, I would very much expect to see some other Mandos come out and jetpack rocket into them.
Yes, and that's kind of what I love so much about 2.6 is that the fog of war effect from the deployment in turn 0 can really cause dynamic moments for commanders, because suddenly a plan that you had that you felt was solid 2 activations ago suddenly has something else that's happening, and you got to pivot. And I love that so much about 2.6.
I think the move on deployment is all right. So
lackluster roll for the commandos.
But
so
they do have good.
Have 2 aims from Anakin's 3-pip and target 1. So Zack looks like he's converting a hit and a crit here, and contemplating whether or not to spend the second aim for lethal. Okay, Tony's rolling 1 white dice for the cover.
And then
like Saxon will need to roll 2 dice.
Oh, so that's what he's doing. So he deployed, and he's going to get them both.
And he gets both.
So he deployed, took the shot, and now is moving forward into range of that token. That is the power of Infiltrate.
Infiltrate is fantastic, people. That does make me nervous, though. That is such a target of opportunity that I know Tony is going to take that bait. He's going to come in here with 3 squads of Mandos and shoot 4 rockets each at that squad of commandos until they're dead. We'll see how it holds up. The cunning deployment could matter here. Zack getting a free dodge on those clone commandos, maybe giving him the confidence to take a little bit of an aggressive position here on turn 1. We'll have to see how Zack decides to saturate that right flank.
Yeah. Then the concern is going to be A transported Black Sun unit
Oh my gosh, yeah,
is
those guys are already in the danger zone.
yeah.
Yep, that bus could come out on that flank. Those Black Sun could hop out with a speed 1 and then easily get a speed 2 move into a big shot. And that's really what Tony wants. He wants to blitz and get that momentum and put you in a hole and keep you
Yeah.
there for the rest of the game.
Yeah. If he can if he could Mando rocket, get rid of their Katarn armor, and then hit him with
Oh my gosh,
Black Sun, that would be very
insane
devastating.
value.
Well, we're already excited here. We're already excited in the
this
commentator's booth.
This is gonna be a good. It's getting hot. I don't know. It's just so fun watching non-conservative Legion play. Because hey, this is how you win. No time for caution in the finals. All right, Zack adding another unit to the front castle here.
That sounds like a Han version of like Leia's command cards. Leia says no time for sorrows, and Han says no time for caution.
No time for caution. Honestly, dude, Rebel specific advantage card right there. No time for caution. If you perform 2 moves, you get a dodge. Be sweet. I don't know. All right. Zack, looks like they have called those fueling hoses as open terrain, and so Zack is going to go ahead and double move. Another squad of arcs up there. Looks like they're going to go ahead and take 2 aims for their trouble. And a dodge token, that might be a cunning deployment dodge. Okay. Zack making his intentions known here. Tony has a lot of reactivity on turn 1 with the 2 buses. Very interesting.
So Zack is still going to have, I believe, 1 unit of arcs and then 2 commandos left.
Yes. Surely the commandos have face-up orders, so we'll probably expect to see them last. But Tony looks like he's cooking up a Mando deployment right now.
Yep, with the speed 3 movement.
Gar Saxon's commands, of course, do juice up the commandos, giving them lots of free tokens and utility. So it will behoove Tony to keep them as close to Gar as he possibly can until the time is right. Because the mobility advantage, I cannot speak enough about how powerful that is, and it got me in my game against Tony yesterday, so I'm particularly interested to see how Zack tries to respond today. It seems like Zack is kind of just going to try to weather the storm. By throwing enough of his minis out front here, he might be able to saturate well enough that if his dice can hold up, he can overwhelm Tony on this flank, but we will have to see what happens with the buses.
Yeah, this table is going to be a little difficult for buses, but there's space to move them in.
The scaffolds that you can see there are, the bus can move over those. It is just slightly taller than those, so it is a little bit deceptive regarding where it looks like the bus can and cannot be. But yeah, we gave the table a once over.
Yeah.
Once we knew that Tony was going to be in the finals, just to make sure that the table was going to feel like everybody had a fair shake at walking away with the RMO belt here. I guess this is a belt match. Tony did take the belt from Chris in the last match, and so Zack might have the opportunity to win the belt today. You're hanging with 2 former belt carriers now.
Yes.
So
Gus held it longer than I did.
It's a very exclusive club.
How long do you hold it?
I honestly can't remember. Really, nobody challenged me. I had to go out and lose. I had to go lose that thing. Man.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to take it from me.
I held it for lunch.
Yeah.
That's how long I held it.
Well, and the belt is cursed. Anecdotal, but the belt is cursed. It's very difficult to hold the belt for more than 1 day. Oh wow! Okay, here we go.
So not the rockets, just a regular Mando shot, Mando range 3 shot.
This looks like a Mando.
And it was like it was aiming into those arcs, is what he was measuring, and that is some good crits.
That's 3 natties so far. That is not what you want to see when you've got dodges to spend. Oh, 2 blanks for Zack. That's a big loss. 2 models.
Oh, I think he. Oh, right. There is a red die in there. So he threw one. He threw one rocket in there for the blast.
There were 2 red.
And then
he threw 1 rocket, and then the other red dice is from the marksman. He's running the marksman who throws a rainbow in the pool. Yep.
Yeah.
So Tony, he will use every tool at his disposal to find those optimal shots. Right. He'll do the dance with you. It's like, okay, you want to be at
Yeah.
range 2, I'm going to shoot you from range 4, I'm going to shoot you at range 3, and then run away. And that's really if Tony can establish that tempo, Zack's going to be on the back foot going into turn 2.
So we got the spend the surge token in block 2. So hide their dice.
So Zack's got to feel a little disappointed with that roll. I think you want one more save in there most of the time.
And fewer critical hits when you've got
fewer
a stack of dodges.
Yep. You want fewer natties coming in, but okay, it looks like we've got a second squad of commandos coming in here.
Yeah, with that range and a half for the infiltrate, that
Most
definitely looks
certainly
like
coming in
what we are measuring for.
Complete the mission token there. Zack staying vigilant, making sure he's getting that surge to block. I don't think Tony's advanced onto any of the tokens, the complete the mission tokens that Zack has put down. So none of these commando shots have critical 2 yet.
So stacking up some commandos right next to their buddies.
This is a cool matchup. Mandalorians versus commandos. You know, 2 sides of the same coin. Both live and die by the dice. Small pools, big impacts. All right, Zack sends it. That looks good. He has the aim, but he's contemplating Pierce.
Well, I believe he might have 2 aims at this point, right?
Oh, that's correct. You're totally right.
Oh, and it looks like he's first spending an aim off of his clone buddies there.
That's fantastic. This is clones at their best.
Or did he just spend the surge? I think he might have. Yeah, he spent the surge.
There it is. So spending the reliable surge. Cover saves nothing. These Mandos are going to clench and roll.
And it's going to be probably 5 on the Pierce.
I think it'll be 5 with
5
Pierce.
on the
There's no way he doesn't spend for the lethal.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Tony does have a dodge. Okay.
Oh, good roll and loses 1.
Loses 1 miniature.
But high velocity, so no dodge.
Oh, you're right. That's correct. Oh, my gosh. All right. Tony has to be happy with that. That's a lot of damage bouncing off right now.
So if we hide the scoreboard, you can see that he did pull 1 guy because of that Pierce.
Not bad. That's about as good as Tony can ask for.
Hide that while they're deploying on that side.
You can see Tony's got a little ball of pikes there down at the bottom, hiding behind the air control tower. Mirrored position from Zack's clone castle. Okay, it looks like Tony's starting to get creative with his deployment here. First bus coming out on the left flank. Possibly. Tony might just be measuring here to make sure that his contemplated deployment is legal. All right, so we're going to start to see some vehicle action here, it looks like. I'm assuming Tony has activated everything that does not have a face-up except for the buses. So his hands are now tied. He must make some important decisions.
He is he's holding his Savage bus, but I didn't see who. I don't know who's in it because he's got a Mandalorian squad in one and the Black Sun squad in the other.
Yes. So this is his tactician aim. He has the tactician on both of the buses today and is generating 3 aims. That is great value.
I love the tactician.
It's fantastic. And I tell you what, he was jumping out of the bus with Mandos with 2 aims on him yesterday, and he just I got cooked. I got absolutely cooked.
Right. I mean, when Tactician happened at the beginning of the round instead of the beginning of their activation,
it was ridiculous.
Great.
It was ridiculous. But actually, I played Tony 2 weeks ago, and he was running a very similar list, and he actually only had 1 Tactician, and the addition of the second Tactician, I feel, has increased his firepower very disproportionately based on the Tactician's cost. And I think that means it's a good thing to put on your bus, people.
Yeah. I remember one of my first LVO was a bus with Cassian K2, and that Tactician was just loading up the
was ridiculous.
And Wookiees in the bus. And Wookiees just that was a glorious LVO.
What a time to be alive. All right, Tony's going to deploy. Looks like he's preparing to line up a shot. The trucks, the AA5 trucks, are equipped with the 6 Black Dice Impact 2 weapon. So Tony's undoubtedly going to deploy, shoot the 6 dice. Not sure what his target is, but we'll be able to tell.
It looked like those arcs again.
Yep. Okay. Ooh, Zack pulls one for cover. That feels good. 2 dice going in on the save.
And then he can dodge another one, I think.
Ah, there we go. Cunning deployment coming in, guys.
pulling a dodge. He's pulled a dodge from somewhere. I didn't quite see who's pulling it
Oh,
off.
somebody's got a dodge.
Might have been that Commandos, actually. And he blocks the last one.
The disrespect. The disrespect.
Well, that's just what you get for doing all that damage to them off
yep.
of that first Mando shot.
Yep, that's defensive tech, man.
Now, let's see if we can take a peek here. I don't see if Tony actually chose to deploy
presume that Tony
anything.
just forgot to debark his unit, which he'll probably do now, knowing that he just wanted to move and shoot, and Zack, being the gracious player that he is going to allow Tony to debark.
Yeah, he's doing that now, and it looks like they're going to hop out behind that.
Yeah, Tony uses it to find safe positions in the mid-board and occupy them early.
Yeah, and it is the Mando squad.
It's a fantastic tactic. Those Mandos do come out with a face-up token, and most likely one aim token from the.
And if I were betting, I imagine he's going to want to post him up right there to be behind that building.
Most certainly, I would imagine he's going to move and actually try to get greedy and shoot some of those clones under that scaffolding there in the mid-board.
Yeah. Take cover here as he shoots that angle that way.
This is how Tony gets that early game momentum. So if Zack can weather this storm, that firepower is going to drop off as Black Sun models and Mando models start to die, and Tony's going to need to walk the pikes out and start to take shots. So we'll see.
Well, that's the great thing about the naked pikes is they're just so good. Oh, I'm sure I'm not shooting you, but you're just going to be really tough to.
They do everything great.
Yeah.
Looks like we've got some finagling of miniatures, just declaring intent and making sure that we've got heavy cover from our angles here.
Yeah, I think he's checking line of sight.
Yep, I think Tony does not want to get shot.
For the case of if another unit of Commandos comes out.
Yep.
But I feel like if you've already shot, you've already taken one Mando off that other squad. If the Commandos come out, you just keep on that target. Threat saturation.
I totally agree. That's the best thing the clones can do right now, I think. Okay, so Zack is just deploying a whole cadre of Commandos there on the starship. He's liking that position. Some good line of sight. I know Zack is fond of the sniper configuration. So we'll see if these Commandos ever decide to commit to dropping onto a POI, which I think they ought to at some point, but we'll have to see what Zack decides to do here. All right, rethinking his deployment a little bit here, not liking the angle there. Says, you know what? I'm just going to deploy on the ground. Still at range 1 of my token. I get everything I still want. And it looks like Zack's going to be shooting at that same unit of Mandos. Just looking for one break in the dice, and that's all Zack needs to get a little momentum on this flank here and punish Tony for a potentially greedy Mando move. All right, here we go. We got Commandos taking a big shot. Ooh.
There's a good shot.
That's it. That's what you like to see. 4 hits coming in. Tony
and spend the aim for Pierce.
Okay, there we go. We got the lethal going. Tony's got 4 for heavy cover. One of them drops.
One out.
Tony's
so we're going to roll
4 dice.
On Pierce 1.
There it is. That's the break. That's the break.
That's a good one.
That's the break in the dice Zack wants. That's 2 Mandos.
Yep.
It's 2 Mandos.
2 Mandos down.
That's going to be bad for Tony. I'm not sure Zack has any more range that he can walk out to clip that squad. But Tony being relegated to hiding that Mando for the rest of the game is going to hinder his ability to really mobilize onto these POIs. Activation starting to dwindle here on turn 1. Both of our players are starting to zero in on their targets of opportunity. Zack has to be happy with that. 3 Mandos down.
That sets up the... I feel like in 2.6 you very, very frequently get a round 2 1 pip roll-off. And I feel like we're setting that up for again because if he can finish off that Mando squad, that's going to be very important. First off, it scores him scores him a point for the secondary
Yes,
right away.
Absolutely, it does.
Second off, if it's just getting rid of that scoring unit.
Yep. There we go. Xander proving himself to be a prophet. We see Tony occupying the predicted spot for the Mandos here. I'm not sure if our players have decided whether or not that's in contesting range of that central POI, but Tony seems more than happy to move his miniatures onto the line of sight blocking terrain there.
He looks like, with the positioning, it looks like he's more concerned about that central point swinging round than the left side swinging round.
Right, and
which makes me wonder if that left side is where he wants his other bus to go.
That's what I was about to say. I think that DP23 squad might be the target that Tony has zeroed in on for the Black Sun.
Mm-hmm.
So this looks like a move and most likely an attack from these Mandos. They're going to be at range 2, which is where they're most dangerous. And we'll have to see what arsenal, which weapons Tony decides to attack with each model with. These Mandalorians, of course, have a little bit of a Swiss Army knife effect. So I'm going to assume that this is 2 rifles, the marksman, and a rocket. Tony does have the aim from the tactician.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Let's see if we can bump this. See what color. It's hard to tell the color of these sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah, that is a red die there.
Yep, red. Okay, Zack bounces.
That's a good roll.
That's a good save. That's a great save. Zack's going to take 2 wounds. Looks like Tony is trying to bully some of those arcs in front. That's a great target, but that's what you want to see. That's a good save for clones.
Yeah, I'm going to have to mess with the camera thing here to see if we can get a better distinguishing between those red dice and the black dice.
I mean, we're trying. We're trying. We're doing the best we can. So our players discussing the remaining activations here. Tony still has 1 bus with a Black Sun unit inside that he has high hopes for.
And I think he still has a squad. Does he still have a squad of Mandos?
1, he might. You're correct. He has a squad of Mandos off the board still. I can't believe how much stuff is in that list. 13 activations? So many.
Mm-hmm.
Zack just doing his due diligence here, making sure there aren't any easy shots he can take on those squad of Mandos that are pressuring the mid-board here. It's got to be disappointing to leave that Mando squad on 1 wound left without any more additional ranged firepower to try to remove that model. But them's the breaks. Okay, I predicted Kyle was going to try to castle up on the left flank here, up in the top left quadrant of the board, but it looks like Tony's deployment has drawn Kyle into this top right quadrant.
Zack.
Oh, Zack. Oh, I'm so sorry. Zack, guys, not Kyle. Who's Kyle? Who's Kyle?
Yeah, there's a Kyle somewhere.
Yeah, there's Kyle somewhere.
Not here.
Not playing, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it looks like... Oh.
This is most certainly the other tactician bus, which has just produced another 3 aims. Guys, that's 6 aims that those 2 cards have produced just this turn. That is a good upgrade.
He's running out of things off the board to put them on.
I'll tell you what, though. He can do the bus, the Mandos, and the Black Sun. Those Black Sun are going to come out of the bus with such a scary look on their face, dude. They are just murderous.
Oh, is he looking to put more on that side?
I would be surprised.
Yeah, well.
I think I would run the Black Sun up the left flank and go after that isolated unit of DP-23s and force the unit behind the landing pad into a compromised position. But Tony's a better Shadow Collective player than me. This is what I was saying. The scaffolds are a little deceptive. The bus can move over and onto those. It is taller than those pieces.
Oh, is he wanting to use that to block off the Mando so that even if he loses initiative next round, that Mando can't get shot?
I have, that is absolutely what Tony's gonna do. He's gonna have to debark from here though, so
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting. I guess the Black Sun will, by necessity, have to debark onto the platform. Can you debark
Yeah,
onto a
but
different elevation?
I believe that's the case.
Oh, interesting.
So looks like he's taking a shot though.
Yep, same deal as last time. Looks like Tony has forgotten to debark the unit inside and is just opting to move and shoot and then decide to debark instead. Zack can do nothing in between any of these actions, so it's more of an order of operations thing than any
Cover
sort of game state
and
compromisation.
cover takes one, and then a surge token takes the other hit.
The clone special,
Looks
guys,
like
that's how
onto those
frustrating to
arcs,
know.
but he's loading up onto those arcs, just shooting those arcs as much as possible.
Yep, Tony knows he knows it's better to kill one thing than hurt three, so he's definitely going to try to get rid of some of those arcs. He does not like that. Black Sun don't like that. Anything Tony's list wants to do gets shut down pretty hard by arcs. So it looks like Tony is going to be debarking those Black Sun off the right side of the bus here and into a strong cover position again in behind the yellow truck there.
I do feel like that's him conceding the left side of the board a little bit, which
Almost
isn't.
certainly. Yeah, I would have thought he was going to bring the bus up onto that pile of rubble there and walk the Black Sun out in support of that central Mando squad.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. Tony, it seems like Tony has confidence in his pikes here, that they're going to be able to hold mid-board while the Mandos and Black Sun and bus advance up the right, but there is so many clones there.
So
3 squads of commandos, all with Katarn armor intact. You can only expect to do so much there.
So we see Anakin deploying.
All right, here he comes.
It's gonna be fun if Anakin can get into those Mandos. That's always fun.
Yes, that's going to be it. And Zack has been playing Anakin and getting the reps in, and that's what it takes with Jedi. Just got to get the reps, and you get the practice, and then it just becomes intuitive. All right, look at
Checking
this.
for, yeah, it does look like the Black Sun are going to be able to get a range 2 shot on those arcs.
Oh, man, this is
It's close.
This is
it's going to be
stuff.
close.
This is nightmare stuff, man. Don't do it. Don't do it, Tony. Oh, he's going to get it.
It's going to be close. There's
He's
probably going to be a judge call.
Yep, we'll probably end up seeing a consular come over. Or maybe both of our players are feeling confident and have reached a consensus. Looks like Tony was just contemplating an activation there. He's not going to do the Black Sun yet. And here come Mandos off the board. They do have defend 1 and received an aim from the bus, so they're going to have some options. A lack of armor makes apparent targets for the Mando rockets. It means that there's a lack of apparent targets for the Mando rockets. So we'll have to see. Yeah, he's committing. Look at this. He's committing to that right flank. He likes that tower. He really likes that control tower and what that's doing for his for the line of sight on the left side of his flank there, and he's really committing to this angle here.
Just determined to take down that arc squad.
Yes, this is a big attack Tony is mounting here, and he smells blood. He smells Mandalorian blood in the water, or clone blood in the water. Man, and you know, that is the best thing I think Mandos have going for them is that Swiss Army effect, right? You have rockets at range 4, you have the rifles at 3 and the pistols at 2, and you can throw any combination of them whenever it's available, and you can get some funky dice pools, and if you have the aims to do it, you can get full boat on 7 or 8 dice, 9 dice from 4 miniatures, and that's the kind of value you have to generate to play Mandos effectively.
I think you just heard Tony say he's going to do 1 rocket and the rest of them the range 3 guns. Which
awesome, guys. So that's going to be the marksman for red, black, white. And then 2 more miniatures with black, white, and an additional red dice to add blast to the pool to deny cover for Zack's arcs. This is what I'm talking about, guys. It's keyword soup, it's dice soup, it's weapon soup. You got to be familiar with the card, you got to know the card, and when you get to that level, you can really mix and match to great effect.
That is the one thing.
Oh my god, and then this.
that's
my god.
That's a lot of crits.
Sheesh, guys. This is the value I'm talking about. Cover on 3. None of it goes in. These arcs are rolling 8 dice.
Oh, did he not use it? It looks like I think he didn't. I think he decided not to use the rockets. Then yeah, there's only the one red die, and that.
Oh, these arcs are having a bad day. That's dead arcs.
Yeah, that's going to be them
that
finished
is a
off.
massive pickup for Tony on turn 1.
That was a crazy. He didn't even spend it.
Look at that pool, man.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that pool. I feel for Zack right now. I do not envy Zack. That is a feels bad roll, man. Okay, that's a massive swing for the end of turn 1. I'm sure Zack had great designs for that unit of arcs on the tip of the spear, but now the attack has been blunted. And Tony's massive commitment to this right flank might be able to overwhelm Zack's commando castle. And it happens fast. Tony likes to make it happen fast. That is exactly the type of toehold Tony's list needs to
so it looks
tear through what's left of this flank here.
Looks like Tony is contemplating a straight-up assault on those commandos.
Well, the Black Sun, are suffering from success here. Tony, no doubt, expected the arcs to live and intended to kill them with the Black Sun, but suffering from success here. The Black Sun have to find something else to kill. Tony's looking for a range 2 shot on these commandos. It looks very close.
Now, a dump of Black Sun into commandos feels like a little bit of a waste because they're just going to respond by going, hey, you just only killed one of me.
Yep.
But you got to work. You got to start somewhere.
You have to pull the Katarn. Oh, here we go. We have a consular call for this ranging. We got Steven, Space Viking, coming over. Shout out to Steven. He's been all over the place all weekend, making all sorts of POI adjustments, terrain adjustments, as we adjust to where we need to have open space on the board to facilitate all the different games we want to play here. All right, Steven's making the call.
Close enough. He's taking a second angle.
Yep, taking a second angle here. This is, and of course, Steven doesn't want to make mistakes. We've got the final on the line.
Shot or no shot?
At range 2.
Tony has the shot. At best, he can look to pull one commando here, but that is value. You need to get rid of that Katarn if you actually want to engage the commandos. If you're not going to ignore them, you have to shoot them. I don't think Tony's going to like his cover position here, though. There is a relatively large pillar in front of those Black Sun behind or beneath the landing pad there that they're going to get cover from most of the commandos from, but that left flank is going to feel wide open. That left flank is going to feel wide open. I think what Tony wants to do here is capitalize on how Zack has his forces split. He's going to try to fight this right flank and then use his mobility to mobilize everything and go fight the left flank after dealing with the right side. But like I said, if Zack can weather this storm, that's going to be a problem. It's also easy to feel like, or to say that Tony's overcommitting, but of course Anakin Skywalker looks to be moving onto the right flank here, and so Tony is wanting to hedge his position against that absolute menace of a Jedi.
Yeah, Anakin. I think we're already looking at Anakin Skywalker is going to have to do a fair amount of work here.
Absolutely, he will. Okay, here we go.
That
big Black Sun shot coming into commandos here.
Not a great roll, but he does have 3 aims to keep going.
Three aims and an independent surge to spend. So Tony's going to bank that surge and spend the aims before he decides what he wants to do with it. He does have targeting scopes equipped, which brings him to Pierce 2 for 4 rerolls. This is Shadow Collective at their best, guys. This is what
so he's chosen to keep the white surge and reroll the black surge, which totally is the right call.
There we go, guys.
And spend the 3rd aim.
Oh my gosh. Look at that. Black Sun. It's just 9.
8 into cover. Oh, that's
Great
a good cover
for,
save.
for Zack. That's fantastic.
So the question, that's actually good enough cover save.
Can Commandos save
That
this?
the question is, does he could actually spend shield tokens, and then depending on how many dodges he's got in there, he might not need to use the Katarn.
I just forgot the Commandos have a shield token. They have so much mitigation, dude. They're so good.
Oh,
The disrespect.
yes.
The
So
disrespect.
after all of that,
Didn't
all
even
of the
crack
defensive
Katarn.
tech, all of that cover, doesn't have to use the Katarn.
That's brutal, bro.
It does look like he used shields. Did he use a shield? I can't quite tell, but
I would. It's a good surmise that he used the shield.
it looked like he had four. It looked like he had four left, dodged one, and
he
yeah.
had to have shielded. I would have.
Yeah.
Jeez, bro, the disrespect on that.
Yeah.
Tony
At first you're thinking, oh, I'm just gonna Katarn, but then after that cover save, you're like, no, we're going for it.
Oh my gosh, and this is what I'm talking about, right? That's the weathering of the storm that he needs, because now these Black Sun have put themselves in a very compromised position for zero value. With a large investment, 3 aims, all that tech, all those orders. Turn
So
one,
like
right?
they are picking up dice, and we're moving into turn 2.
Losing an arc, but saving a commando, saving your Katarn armor for another day is, I would say, these players are on even footing here. This looks like a very scrappy turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little bit too early for Anakin to commit. I'm not sure what Zack's gonna want to do here. I haven't played enough against his archetype enough to know how aggressive he's going to want to be here. I know he likes to be active with Anakin. I know he likes to get Anakin involved early and have his strategy nebulize around what Anakin is able to do, but we're going to have to see what he decides here.
I feel like this, like most of the time, it feels like a one-pip roll-off.
Right, that's what I was going to say. As Xander said, it's turn 2 feels more decisive than ever, and both of these players are postured to do some big damage if they can go first. Tony, of course, wanting to save that Mando and get those Black Sun out of trouble. We're going to get some cards here. What do we have? Oh, wow.
Oh.
We have Ploy against You Underestimate My Power. Ploy, of course, being the Shadow Collective 1-pip that allows you to place 1 order face down on the card.
Which I feel like is going to be that Black Sun,
Has
probably.
to be the Black Sun, right? Tony needs that order control. It's going to enable the Black Sun to retain their independent aim, do their best, take a big shot, and then back up. And then You Underestimate My Power is, of course, the card that just turns Anakin's attack all the way up to 11, adding 6 white dice to his pool.
So that's actually a very, very interesting threat. If
the Black Sun activate and don't run away,
right,
Anakin can do some very interesting things.
Anakin does have burst of speed, so Anakin could very well be in range. I think he actually, it'd be close, but he might be in range to double speed 3 move into that Black Sun right after
and this is what I'm saying. This is why Zack can get away with no push on Anakin, because you just kill whatever you're touching. Just kill it in one swing, and then go kill the next thing in one swing. Like Anakin, he can do it, man. And 12 dice, I don't think I've actually ever seen this card like pop off and do the thing where whatever you put down 11 dice on something that you are dueling or whatever, but I feel like the threat of it is really the value of the card, right? Where it sort of throws a wrench into your opponent's plans in terms of, all right, I wanted this unit to be first or I didn't. And I think that's what Zack's leaning into here, saying, hey, look, if you try it with the Black Sun, you're gonna feel it.
And then we've got HQ uplinks popping on all of those commandos.
Man, the tech. Zack's got a very watertight list here. The tech is just solid. With the proc of the HQ uplink, of course, those commandos are retaining their target 1 and getting a free aim token. It's not what you want if you're Tony.
That HQ uplink on them is such a wonderful thing.
It is.
Because they can just recover, shoot, recover,
get your shield back. Yep. Like, oh my gosh.
It hurts a little bit more when you want more mobility. That's where they suffer.
And I think that's a big part of why Zack has leaned in so heavily to the zoning style of play with the commandos, where he sets up this really strong base of fire on turn 1 and then kind of uses that as a backbone to advance behind. I think it's just reduces the bandwidth of playing those commandos a little bit. Just say, hey, recover, shoot. I'm getting value, and until you do something that makes me do otherwise, I'm going to be okay with that. I think that's a good strategy.
Yeah. So Tony is choosing to move up his Black Sun even closer.
Tony is committing all gas, no brakes. It is indeed the Black Sun on the ploy. They are maintaining their independent aim.
Oh.
And Tony's going in for a big swing here. I think he's going to try to hit some more clone troopers.
They were measuring towards those clone troopers next to Anakin.
I think he's going
because at this point, it feels he's like, oh well, since that first one whiffed against the clone against the commandos, all I'm gonna do is just Katarn them at best.
If I was Tony, I'd shoot Anakin, and I think he is. We're gonna find out. One aim to spend here. It's a little bit of a lackluster Black Sun roll. You want to see that big 7-8 jackpot. See if the precise 2 aim can convert. Hey, gets one more.
And one more.
One more. He's going to spend the surge on white. It's an average Black Sun roll, I'd say. Maybe a little below.
6
Decent
cover takes. 2 of them.
Cover.
Average cover, yeah.
Decent cover.
2 out of 6.
And who's rolling 4 here? We'll see if a deflect comes through. Oh, no. I guess we would have seen a gem so if he was shooting Anakin, which he did not.
Yeah, so that was
clones.
That was just the naked clones, and he did spend. So he spent 1 surge to only take the 1 hit.
Man, that is the clone special. Like 5 hits, 6 hits, pull 2, save 3, lose 1.
And I believe,
it's so
I believe
discouraging.
that one that he just shot is actually just the naked clones, and it's the DP clones that are behind them.
Okay, so Tony going for the weakest, most vulnerable activation instead of trying to whittle firepower.
But yeah, that DP is sort of sitting in between them, so he could kind of belong to either unit. I will go check.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. So Zack, with the Black Sun activation in the books, is feeling much more confident activating these commandos. We're going to see, I suspect we see the anti-armor shot here. Oh no, look at this. With the recover. He is continuing to pester those mandos in the back line. Next to the red mall bus. Yeah, it looks like just declaring his target here. No need to measure. Nothing's moved in the meantime. Pulls a surge there. Doesn't seem ideal. I think he's gonna spend the aim for lethal. I think he'll be okay with the 3.
Looks like he spent surge.
He spent
off
a surge
of
from someone else. Man,
else.
clones are so good. All right, this is Tony's cover save. It's solid.
It's very good.
2 out of 3, man.
So he will
just on a crit and a hit here.
And this is into he decided to go into the full squad of Mandos.
Did he really?
Yeah,
I'm not sure why. Because that's why. Yeah, that's what happened. You could have killed 1 Mando, but that's the Mando special, man. You just roll good and feels good.
Yeah. Well, both of these defensives had some pretty good defensive rolls.
Yes.
So
the tech has been there and the saves have been there. So we are just continuing to scrap here.
I think that order token up there is in error, but
yes,
fix
that is the pikes, or the Black Suns.
That should have flipped over.
That was the ploy order. Yes,
yeah.
Tony has moved that from the card onto the table, but that is an unactivated Black Sun unit, guys. I think they're going to meet their demise very shortly.
Yeah, because they are
Zack's decision to go after the Mandos. You know, maybe that's my lizard brain saying, hey, oh my gosh, these Black Sun right here, they're really scary, I want to kill them. And maybe he has better fire discipline than me, so we'll have to see if that ends up paying dividends. But here goes Tony.
I would have gone against the single Mando.
Same, yeah, that's what
try to finish that off, because now it looks like that single Mando is running. That single Mando is running away.
He's going to be relegated to late game POI scoring, but that's 100 points just flying away.
And that at minimum, that's 1 point right now.
Yep. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Sweep and clear. Yeah. I'm very intrigued as to why Zack went for the full squad instead of the single man. But hey, they're in the finals. I'm not. Let's go ahead and trust their decisions.
All right, we got.
All right, looks like a squad.
Some more arcs.
All right, Zack is lining up a big haymaker here. Those Mandos are in a great position to deliver a scary counterpunch. Okay.
So he's taking some measurements.
Scoping out the left flank here. We can't forget he has a squad of arcs and a DP-23 squad holding down that left flank. But I think Tony is banking on those 2 units being able to contribute to the engagement too late and wants to engage the rest of Zack's forces before those 2 units have time to consolidate.
So Tony is running, double checking here, running 4 naked pikes, and it looks like he's got 2 posted up on the left and 2 posted up in the center, which is very good for threatening both that side and the center objectives.
Yeah, Tony has set himself up here to pressure all 3 objectives, which is great. And I think Zack has tried to respond to that in kind, but committed heavily with all 3 commando squads on the right flank. They're sitting on top of that starship there on the right side, if you're just joining us. And Zack with a little bit of indecision here. No optimal target for the arcs, and so is instead deciding to take a little bit of a defensive maneuver, climb up onto the landing pad, and posture to score the left objective. Ooh, he shook. He shook. He doesn't know what he wants to do with this Special Forces token.
If I were him, I think I'd move up the center arcs.
I would as well. I think you pressure whatever's there in the middle, right? Try to pull a model off those Mandos and let this flank, because he's not going to walk pikes into arcs, right? He's going to hide with the pikes. And
yeah.
You have to let that happen, let them activate, and then go in and make some shit happen. But I think Zack has great plans, has high hopes for those arcs in the middle to counter-engage some of these Mandos or whatever it is Tony decides to walk out here. And seems to be circling this squad of arcs on the left. It feels bad to activate a squad of arcs and not get an attack, though. And I think Zack is... Why do I keep saying Kyle? Who's Kyle? I think Zack is... Okay. Opting instead for a little reposition, not reaching for the POI. He's consolidating his position on the mid-board. That's interesting. Okay. I think losing the squad of arcs on the right flank has made Zack feel like he wants some of that firepower redistributed into the center of the board to help hold the middle POI. But it feels bad to double move with arcs on turn 2 and not be on a POI. We'll see if that ends up being relevant here for Zack.
Oh, there, they fixed the... And this is probably a bus.
This must be a tactician aim. So Tony is going to generate 2 free aim tokens here. Looks like one's going on Saxon.
And I expect he's going to want to move that bus up to right behind those Black Sun, where he's made a nice little gap for that bus to score. And then shoot at something. I don't know if he'll have the angle to shoot the clones that he shot before,
Knowing
but
Tony, I suspect he's going to continue to shoot at the thing he's most likely to remove from the board. So picking up one of those naked clone troopers from the token battery squad makes me feel inclined to say that Tony's going to go ahead and continue to put firepower on that squad until it's gone.
Yeah, if he's got the angle on them, it's hard to see if he does or not.
We have some.
There's actually a gap under there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that scaffolding is not line of sight blocking.
Yeah, so there's a gap through there.
Yes. Tony is able to find an easy angle underneath the scaffold there. For not much. The bus
not a great
does
shot,
not
though.
Surge. Yeah, okay. 2 on cover for Zack. He's rolling 2 red dice here. Come on, saves.
No.
The 50-50. Can't be mad. That clone trooper squad is going to be down to 2 miniatures, and Tony is absolutely going to be hounding that squad, looking to score, sweep, and clear. We'll have to see if Zack manages to pull a core token early enough and decides to save them, or continue to leave them in the fight and try to throw dice and produce tokens. Looks like Zack does indeed procure a core token and has decided to opt for the initiative with the DP-23 squad here in the middle. So they're going to
looks like
underneath the scaffold. It's going to be a little difficult to see there, but they should have plenty of targets available at range 3 to bully with that Pierce 1.
He's measuring.
Zack's dice show up.
Measuring over to that Mando squad.
Yeah, it looks like he wants to preempt that squad of Mandos that Tony has stuffed into the
Which
center.
I don't hate.
No, I love that shot. Mandos, of course, have defend 1 And I think Tony did not issue an order to that squad of Mandalorians.
He did give him an aim off the bus.
He did give them an aim, but no dodge means that the only
they've
tech
got
they're
two
going to have
aims.
to try to resist this fire is cover.
And their Beskar.
And Bisca. Okay. Zack has to be happy with this angle. He likes that. This is a good shot.
And a good what? Where did that red
where's
die
the red
get
die?
in there?
So that's nothing, folks.
Get that out of here.
Clone infantry do not surge to hit, so Zack's looking at a hit crit here. I'm not sure if he has any aims to share. Looks like he's gonna take one. He's gonna re-roll those black dice, go for all the marbles. Oh no, he's
that was just a surge.
Just to convert a surge to make it 4 total. 3 on heavy cover, 1 on Pierce. Let's see if these Mandos can hang. Okay, Tony can't
Rolling
be upset about
3. It's about time for Tony to roll some blanks on red, though.
It'll be 3. Yeah, I was about to say it'll be 3 saves on 4. Impervious is gonna come in, but
there's
the Bisca.
It was about time. For,
Yeah.
I said.
The Bisca.
I said it was about time for those for
Xander
some
with
blanks.
commentator's curse every time coming in. That is brutal. That's just one. That's 3 models off an unactivated Mando squad. Tony is not happy about that. That's not what you want to see, especially after investing a tactician aim into that pool. That feels bad.
That feels. Zack's actually feeling pretty good right now,
That's
just
a big
because a lot of Tony's offensive power has been. I mean, Zack has taken a lot of damage, but a lot of Tony's offensive power has also been reduced quite a bit.
I think surviving that Black Sun shot and keeping that 2 model squad of clone infantry alive right now is keeping Zack in ahead of Tony here in terms of momentum. Because as long as Anakin is not activated here and has bursts of speed, we can more or less count on one of these activations being gone at the end of the turn. And so picking up 3 Mandos for free before Anakin has even had anything to say about it is fantastic.
Yeah. I feel like he's going to want to, take, if Anakin has the range, double burst of speed into that Black Sun and just chew them up.
That's what I was going to say, is that really the only thing that can test Zack's close range firepower, be it anti-armor commandos or arcs, is now the Black Sun. And Anakin is in such a prime position to just make them no longer exist that Zack has to be feeling good about going into turn 3.
Even though I do think Tony is going to get the early score advantage, but
I think his list is built very heavily around, he has to, right? His entire strategy predicates being in the lead starting on turn 3, and I think Zack might have the defensive tech here. Okay. To blunt Tony's blitz. All right, Commandos firing in on something. We're not quite sure yet, but that's a good cover save, pulling half of the damage off. We're going to see some saves here. Looks like more Mandos. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think is that last one.
That's
oh, no,
2
he's...
Mandos off the one up top. This is looking grim. The Mandos are dropping. Tony has 4 out of 12 Mandalorians remaining on the board. Zack is absolutely mincing those poor Mandos.
It is interesting that he's choosing not to finish off any of the Mando squads.
I'm not sure if Zack has misread the secondary or is, it's 5 games of Legion is a lot of games of Legion in 2 days. The fatigue is real for both of these players. The decisions the analysis paralysis is real, and the decision-making trees are vast, and it is just so difficult to play at your best.
We always got to admit that playing on a camera, being on a stream adds another level. That
also no sweat. It's just the finals. No
we try to be as inobtrusive as possible, but there's always that back of the head. They know someone's watching.
The human element. It's exciting, man. Winning is fun, and both of these guys want to do it. And Josh hit it on the head. Everybody's kind of on the same vibe. We feel like it's a mistake to leave that single Mando alive, but Zack is in the pilot seat here. He is driving the boat, and he's in the finals. We're just along for the ride. Tony's mobilizing his pikes here. I think he's feeling the pressure. He's losing these Mandos, and he knows that he's got to get bodies onto the POI without the durability and the off chance that you roll so many good saves with the Mandos that he now needs to get pikes involved. And this is where Tony's list is going to start feeling bad because all that firepower is front-loaded, and when these pikes have to double move onto objectives, you stop killing things.
Yeah.
You stop killing things, and that's where Tony's going to lose momentum.
So it looks like he's choosing not to score, to move a whole lot up to score this round.
Yes.
But he still does have a couple pikes over. I don't know about if those pikes on the left side can double move to get to the center, because it might be the case that Zack is just going to forego the left side point and just try to collapse both of these this way.
I think he's comfortable knowing that those arcs can double move into scoring range on that left, and is waiting to see what Tony wants to do with those pikes. I'm not sure if those pikes on the left are scoring from that position beneath the POI or not.
Yeah, so there are two squads here.
Yes, two squads there, and we're not sure if they're scoring yet. We're not sure what the consensus between players is, but Zack is remaining conservative with his units on the left flank, really putting the pressure on this right side here, trying to diminish Tony's active activations, or available activations, while he can. Those commandos would need to recover in order to get their configuration back. And it looks like Zack is going to be out of range 2 of that single model Mando there in the center. So he's going to have to take a shot on Black Sun. I suspect he's going to use the carbine configuration here with suppressive, considering that these commandos have not recovered, although he may have recovered with his first action here. We'll have to see. I suppose recovering to get the anti-armor could be good. They do have the aim from target. Man, commandos are cool. The decision tree is real.
They're so fun.
They're so fun. Yeah, that's super cool.
I've got my Delta squad painted up. I've seen the table a couple times.
I don't know why Delta doesn't get more play, man. Holy moly. Independent recover is a hell of a drug, dude.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So cool. Looks like our players Zack's being a bit contemplative with this commando shot. Being very selective with the application of his available firepower here on the right flank. Does not want to make any misplays. Okay, so he opts for the recover. Decides to continue to shoot with the long-range configuration.
So he misses on the one die. I think he's trying to decide how to use
his available aim tokens.
Things.
Heavy cover takes one away. And we'll have to see who's rolling saves here. It looks like Black Sun rolling 2. Zack, I'm sure, off
No,
the...
that was the Mandos
this is a Mando.
Again. So it looks like he had already shared the aim away.
I see.
So it was a 3 no pierce.
It was a 3 no pierce shot. Okay, so Tony
and he's choosing to... Interesting, so he shot and moved.
Shoot and move. Am I mistaken, or did they need to recover there to get the long-range configuration? I'm sure our players are more on the ball than I am, but...
I would not be surprised. They had an excess of aims last time. I would not be surprised if they deployed, infiltrate, shoot, recover.
Oh, you know, that's a good surmise. That's a great surmise, because he probably used uplinks turn 1 and then used the Anakin 3-pip to generate aims on token sharing units. Yeah, very interesting. Clones are hard.
Yep.
Clones are good, but clones are, you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, we got the second bus coming out.
All right, Tony's going to no doubt start with a tactician roll here. He's looking for some free aims, and I tell you what, those pikes need it if they're going to be putting down the kind of firepower Tony's going to need to win this match.
One going on to Gar, and the other one...
I'm not sure what Tony wants to do with Gar Saxon here. I'm not sure he's going to be getting value throwing 3 dice at range 4. I think Gar needs to get involved. I know he has the flamethrower. I know Tony is reticent to move Gar. aggressively, so I'll be interested to see how Tony feels as this game progresses, if he feels like he needs to start scoring.
So it looks like he chose to put the second aim on the bus and then is going to move the bus up.
Tell you what, the buses are fantastic at scoring POIs. Needing to shoot a scoring bus off of something is very frustrating.
It doesn't look like that bus is going to score where it is, though. Yeah, that's going to be...
Nope.
That's going to be well out. So he can either shoot or move it again.
I think Zack
And I think the
DP-23 and the 2 model clone infantry squad to contest center, even if Tony secures it with 1 model here, or 1 unit. I think Zack can just walk in with 2 later. He's been very conservative with the units on the left, activating everything on the right side.
I think Tony has an easy time is going to have an easy time putting 2 on it, right? Because the bus, and he's got that single model Mando there.
You're right. I forgot about the Mando.
But you are right that contesting the center possibly is here. These guys, and these guys.
Right. I think Zack's got a great angle to play that middle, and I think Tony's really feeling the heat after losing those Mandos early. Look at this.
So then he's pushing the bus up. So the question is, can these pikes double move up? But with that,
So he is.
Yeah. I don't think the pikes are going to get there, but it's going to be close.
I think Tony wants to have the bus be in scoring and block line of sight to that lone Mando there on the middle, but I think we'll end up with
that makes sense.
With a 2-0 lead in the middle here for Tony on the first scoring turn. Zack just doing some careful measuring here to be sure which of his units are eligible to go and contest as well, now that he knows Tony has 2 activated units on the POI.
I think the single Mando hasn't activated yet.
Okay. Can't imagine Tony's going to be... oh, that's right. Those poor Mandos got blasted. I can't imagine Tony's going to be too aggressive with her. Probably just going to leave her there and have her score.
Hiding in that tiny spot.
Just be annoying.
I think the Commandos probably moved up there, so the next time they can recover into their range 2 and start taking range 2 shots at the buses.
That's awesome. I love that. Okay, so that is interesting. Zack has put a complete the mission token on that central POI there. I just noticed that, which means that bus is going to be very vulnerable to commando shots here in the future.
He put 1 on the, looks like he put 1 on the right, near the right point of interest, 1 on the left, on this middle, and then 1 defensively where his clone ball is deploying.
That seems smart. Looks like Zack from the get-go knew he was really going to put pressure on these 2 right objectives here, center and right flank. Tony has no choice but to walk into the danger zone. The surge to crit danger zone. I guess it's critical 2 danger zone, but still scary stuff. And Zack takes a very predictable move with his DP-23 just to go get on the middle POI there. He looks to be pretty well buttoned up. I don't think he's going to take any return fire here.
Yeah, still, if we check that, okay, that is a solid wall of building there, so probably no shots coming from these pikes down here.
Completely LOS blocking, and I think Tony's going to have to move up with those pikes. At this angle, it looks like they're not scoring, so I'm sure Tony's trying to delay their movement as much as possible.
And that, I think, is the suppression surge for the single Mando back there. Okay. So that Mando is going to be suppressed, which is definitely big, because now it's not going to be able to move up and score that center point either.
Yes. And Tony, I think, is going to be forced to be conservative with it. On sweep and clear, I don't think it's going to be worth having a single model wound. Although, even though Zack has proven unwilling to capitalize on single model wounds units being available to kill, it's still not a good position to be in, and I think Tony knows that. And we're just going to find a solid position behind that air control tower to conceal that Mando.
At that point, it looks like it's still in danger of the things that are over here, unless, it still looks like a dangerous spot for that Mando.
Tony's running out of places to hide. Is the problem, and really the bus is the best thing he's got for it. If he can control where that is, and if he can do that, he can make some moves, play leapfrog with those Mandos. Looks like Zack's contemplating a shot here across the midboard. Looking to take advantage of a target adjacent to the bus here. It could be that Mando that Tony just tried to save. I think Zack is now on board with the sweep and clear agenda.
It could be that Tony is just trying to just check the line of sight, just to check, plan ahead.
That's fair. Tony does like to do that, which all players should. You want to declare intent. You want to be as clear with your opponent at all times as possible.
So he does pull some core, and the core he's got left is that DP squad on the left and the two single two guys. Blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to know what he's going to do with that.
The two model.
Because, Zack has two great opportunities to potentially score, sweep, and clear here. His wild and then the enemy territory or contested territory columns. And the only opportunity Tony's really presented himself with to do that is that infantry squad. Although he did kill the
He did kill the arcs.
He did kill the arcs. Yep, that's right. So he is...
He should be at one point.
Yep, he does have the contested or the wild, whichever he decides. Yep.
If he remembered to do that, which I'm sure he did, because...
I'm sure Tony did, and I'm sure Zack is gracious enough to make sure that happens. We, of course, have our second round of doubles going here. With 6 doubles games happening. Very exciting stuff. Of course, we put the championship game up on stream, because we know what the people want. All right, here it is. Zack's commitment with the first unit on the left flank here. He's moving that DP-23 squad up, and I think he's trying to cheat an angle to maybe get a shot on some pikes. Yeah, he sure is. Unactivated squad, they have like a million dodges because pikes, but seems like a decent shot, and Zack seems comfortable with his position on the center POI now that he's willing to commit here.
I'd be more interested in scoring, but
I think so too. Yeah, I think
it's possible that they measured and realized he couldn't get there.
Absolutely, absolutely right. We do not have the same information that our players do. So decent roll here. Two natty crits for the DP-23. No aim to speak of. So we're getting a cover save here. Pikes are looking down the barrel. A 3-pierce one. Outmaneuver is frustrating. Dodging too, which leaves a crit with Pierce. That is frustrating.
Yeah, thought that should have been Pierce anyway.
I think it should have been, and it may have just been, Zack may have just been waiting for Tony to roll it to say Pierce.
Pierce.
But that is an interesting maneuver. I'm not sure that, is scoring or killing one pike more worth it. I'm interested to see what Zack does with those arcs now. But like we said, the fatigue is so real. This is the second game these guys are playing today after 3 yesterday.
Well, the arcs have already gone.
The squad on the left flank.
Yeah, they've gone.
Oh, did they activate?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. These guys here have activated. That's their activation token there.
Oh my gosh, you're right. He reconsolidated. I forgot he did that. Yeah. Okay.
So I think that feels like that might be...
I think Zack is flinching a little bit, right? I think he's flinching a bit, trying to reconsolidate on this right flank after the loss of that arc. I think he needs to, in Anakin we trust. I think he needs to evaluate what Anakin can do this turn before pulling too much of his force off that left flank.
Well, I would, if we collapse these guys into the center, assuming they can score, and then bring these guys in, assuming they
rally, whatever. Yep.
Bring it in there, and then he could get the early score, and then free up Anakin to go murder Black Sun.
Whatever he wants. Yeah.
I think Anakin wants to murder Black Sun, but
here we go. I think
Anakin is running at that.
Is Anakin contemplating a burst of speed into that Mando, or is that Mando contemplating a double speed 3 move out? That'd be foolish. I don't think Tony would do that.
could be that Tony was just measuring to see if Anakin could make it there.
Yeah. Yes. That's a good surmise. The 2 dice aren't worth it, Tony. Keep her alive. They're not worth it. I don't think he can get cute and engage to pull any leaders or anything off of the POI. This looks like an interesting position to take.
So he's moving there to get a shot on that DP while also scoring.
Tony staying scrappy. Staying scrappy with one model. I would have been infinitely more conservative with this activation, but hey, this is the kind of play it takes to get to and win the finals, folks. You gotta take those fights where you can. Oh, she does a move and dodge, it looks like. No shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what he wanted is to place her beyond burst of speed distance from Anakin, which I think is prudent. Zack, knowing that, I think is...
He's seeing if he can get to that bus without burst of speed, and it doesn't look like it.
He's now contemplating Anakin's activation, which is absolutely tantamount to his strategy here. Here we go. Here comes the burst speed. The Wii ball stick. Like, oh, I can't get there? How about we just ball and I get there? Yep. So does he want to hit the bus?
I'd go for the Black Sun.
So the bus is interesting because he's rolling a million dice, right? If he rolls enough crits, he could just absolutely nuke this bus, but I don't think it's a good swing.
Yeah, I'd go for the Black Sun because you're just
every time
you're just taking away so many dice.
Yeah, I think Zack is feeling confident in his Commando's ability to engage the Black Sun that are on the complete the mission token, and I think he is distributing Anakin. I'm not sure this is the play, guys. I'm not sure this is the play. We'll have to see how this roll comes out. If Zack rolls, I don't know, 10 crits, I can't say anything about it. But here we go. We have a whole handful of dice coming in. Oh, I don't think that's it. Impact 3? I'm not sure that's worth it. I'm not sure that's worth it. You're not likely to get the tempted proc here. I'm not sure that was the swing.
Yeah, I think Black Sun would have been the play.
Black Sun would have been it. Tony rolls a great save, but
Pierce is not going to matter.
No, thank you. And does half of the damage to the bus?
Yeah.
Question mark, right? We'll have to see. Maybe a little post-game interview with Zack and reveal some insight into his decision-making process here. But I think if I was Tony, I'd be thrilled to have Anakin activate on You Underestimate My Power and do 4 damage to a bus. So,
yeah.
Yep. So
I mean, at least if you have that swing into Black Sun and you're like, oh, it's still a bad swing, but I still wiped out 4 Black Sun.
That's just what I was saying. Like, I think Anakin, I put a little bit too much on Anakin's activation here, and Zack has maybe made a misplay. We'll have to see here, guys. This is going to be an interesting turn, too. Very exciting stuff.
Pike's moving up to hang out behind that bus.
Tony doing a slow and steady march onto that center POI. No longer able to rely on that Mandalorian firepower. Needs to start playing some fundamentals.
Yeah, but that's what I was thinking because he still has those Black Sun firepower.
Yes,
and
yeah. That's if Zack had been able to remove the Black Sun, nothing on Tony's list hits harder than a wet noodle. Right? Yeah, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Yep, like I said, the decision fatigue is real, guys. Who knows? Zack might see something we do not.
The advantage is that we do get Anakin scoring on that center point.
That's true. That might have been that's most likely the biggest incentive for Zack to be in that position. I'm not sure I like Anakin with an immobilized there. I'm not sure I like the Black Sun being alive. But you know what? That's also why you bring Force Push. Because if you can double move and Force Push something into you, that's almost as good as double moving into it and punching it.
Or Force Push something off of the forward.
I think that's probably a big part of why he's willing to put Anakin in base contact with the vehicle, so as to not be engaged, and maybe next turn is anticipating the Anakin 1-pip for a free jump into Black Sun. Who knows? This looks like
So
a
he
rally
does pull off, which does mean that they can double
roll. They're
move
gonna double move. That
into score. That was
sweet, sweet 2 courage on clone infantry. Zack lucks out, gets another free body on the middle there. That's gonna swip. That's gonna swap. That's gonna be
swip swap.
So it's gonna swap swip.
Swip swap.
That's
Okay.
gonna swap swip. That's gonna be Republic.
So at the moment it looks like it's scoring 2-2 with.
A 3-2 with Annie. 3-2 in middle with Annie.
No, I mean 2-2 overall because Republic's taking the center and then
yeah.
Shadow Collective's going to be taking the side
Tony's
2.
gonna just walk those fish right on up the platform, get on that POI, and start putting some plunging fire down onto some clones. And of course, we still have Gar Saxon out here with 2 aim tokens, who's no doubt going to be taking a very cheeky sniper shot.
Possibly into those 2 that just moved up, try to finish them off.
Tony might be sharp enough to sense that he can neutralize the center POI here. And Gar Saxon, a speed 3 jump 2 model with a sniper rifle is very difficult to hide from.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we have a squad of pikes doing a speed 1 move to climb up onto the landing pad and are indeed going to put some fire down on the clones. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's actually... I think Zack's a better Anakin player than I am. Yeah, because then Anakin 1-pips, kills the other half of the bus. He has to roll a crit to do it, and then double moves into the Black Sun. That's actually pretty sweet. So interesting. So he probably did that because that's the miniature that he can do the most damage to and move twice next round with if he plays the 1-pip. Okay. Life with no force push, man. You gotta go fight trucks if you don't have force push. Gar is cooking up a cute shot here. Oh yeah, just like we said. Tony's sharp enough to know. Tony taking aim action, giving Gar Saxon his 3rd aim for this shot here. And here's Saxon's shot. Very poor showing. 0 for 3 first. This is why Tony has aim tokens.
Aim number 1.
Aim number 1 coming in hot. He just... Oh, what a conversion. And he's going to spend that last aim for lethal. So Zack is looking at 2 crits. If he has a surge to share, those clones live. He does.
He's checking.
The disrespect. The disrespect. Oh, clones, man. The disrespect. So Zack is going to maintain control of that POI with a single miniature.
One body.
One
after
miniature.
After a fairly disappointing Gar Saxon roll.
That's
because it was that first aim he had to use
0 for 3.
That first aim he had to use for long shot.
Yes.
Because he was out.
Yes.
And then the second aim had to use to actually see anything.
To get, and he converted crits and just didn't luck out on the saves. Feels bad. So we're wrapping up our first scoring turn here. Our players doing a little bit of arithmetic. I think they're seeing the same thing we are. I think our Gar player is going up to 2 for holding the center, and our Shadow Collective player is going to be advancing to 2 points.
So I think it'll be 3-2 Tony.
3-2 Tony.
Tony did score.
Tony scored a secondary for sweep and clear.
So
our Shadow Collective player slightly in the lead here, but I think Tony is usually looking to extend his lead a bit more than just a single point on turns 1 and 2. So as we enter the mid game here, we're going to start
Nope,
to see our
I
players.
did put those backwards, didn't I?
For what? Oh, 2. Yeah. Yeah, Zack's got 2. I'm actually just going to go take a peek at the table here while they're doing cleanups. Like it.
So there's a very good chance we're going to see Anakin's 1 pip come out. But still, yeah, there's that 1 pip. So it is a 1 pip versus 1 pip, so we're going to see that 1 pip roll off. And we are moving into turn 3. So it is going to go into a... So that marked for elimination. He looks like he's choosing to put those tokens onto Anakin. Anakin Skywalker, though, with 3 courage. So we're going to see what they do for the roll-off here. Oh, wait. Saxon. All right. I think this is a big roll, and this is this. This is gonna be an important roll off for this round. Which technically they should have done already. That's going to go with Tony's going to get the first, which could be pretty big.
Tony won that roll-off.
Tony won the roll-off.
I saw the cards come down.
Yeah,
that
it is
big, and I forgot Anakin was going to have that immobilized, which does severely limit his ability to be effective here. What I wanted to see Anakin do is attack the bus, roll at least 1 crit, impact 3, kill the bus, double move, attack the Black Sun again. But that's not a thing without Force Push or an immobilized token right now. So Zack's options are a little bit more limited than I thought in the Force user department. And this is where I think we said not killing the Black Sun is going to come and bite Zack in the butt. These guys are going to hit like an absolute truck right now. Plus, I'm sure Tony marked Anakin.
Tony did mark Anakin.
The additional suppression and
observation
tokens, which is just going to cause problems for an unengaged Anakin right now. And those Black Sun, that is a free aim token. 4 observed tokens equates a single free aim for Black Sun, and that is just bad. That's just bad. You don't want that.
So it looks like those Black Sun are aiming and shooting at the dudes that are kind of hanging out there.
Okay, Tony not opting to fire at Anakin. Maybe feeling the pressure more from the ranged firepower being distributed from Zack's gun line here. Either way, we see a big roll come in. I see some natties, but it actually doesn't. It's not as good as it looks.
A lot of those are surges. He
has 1 independent surge he can spend.
You're gonna save the white die. 2 aims, it sounds like he said.
Oh no.
That's better.
That's not what you want to see. Wow.
And more crits coming up.
Wow, that is a Tony roll, guys. These are the kind of rolls that win games. Holy smokes. Okay, here we go. Second storm. that Zack needs to weather to hold midboard. Oh, God. What am I looking at?
Did they miss?
3 blanks in there. I'm not sure who those wounds are on.
Yeah.
We're going to have to see who gets picked up. If Zack's losing...
Were they at range? I think they might have been at range 1 for
the Magdet.
The Magdet and Blast.
Magdet, no cover. You're right, we skipped cover. These guys are absolutely trucking through the midboard. Oh, what a mistake not to kill him, I think. And I'm not sure what that means for Zack's miniatures below there or how many surges he had to spend. But that was a lot of not blocks.
Is that the whole unit?
Zack looks like he's fishing out an entire unit from there. That's what Black Sun do.
If that is the unit, that gives Anakin a free attack.
Okay, let's see if our players can remember the tempted proc. I didn't. Should we?
I'm just gonna double check what they.
Xander just double checking game state here. We don't necessarily want to say anything to our players given that it's the finals, but we are curious to know whether or not Zack is potentially missing a tempted trigger here. Which is huge. It is huge. Don't miss tempted. It's the best thing Anakin can do. Oh no, I think Zack forgot. Tony may be gracious enough to allow the attack to happen later in the phase here, but Zack's going to go ahead and activate Anakin. Okay, that's a bummer.
That was a full unit. I think he just forgot.
Yep, that's certainly a bummer for Zack. And like we said, the decision fatigue is just too real across a whole weekend of Legion, and is instead opting to activate Anakin here, rallying nothing.
But Anakin with 3 courage,
yes,
he's doing
Anakin
all right.
will still get his 2 actions and up to 2 attacks. He is immobilized. I hate it. I don't like the immobilize, but I feel the pressure Zack. I understand there's the pressure Zack was. He wants to do it. I was going to say, is he asking about it now?
I'm just going to listen.
Steven at the table currently just resolving some consular issues for our players. I'm not sure what's going on. Just discussing and reaching a consensus on game state before we get rolling into turn 3 here. I'm not sure what the call is here, but I'm sure Steven will be able to enlighten us as soon as he's done with his head judge responsibilities. How's everybody doing? Armo is awesome, guys.
Oh, you already rolled a suppression, yeah. So yeah, let's find out what he sees.
We actually have a few players continuing in the Swiss as well, alongside our finalists, our top 4 players. Yeah. Yep. Yep. All right, here we go. We got Anakin's first attack. Going in for a monstrous swing. Lots of crits there. Surging to crit. This is exactly what he needed against the bus here to get that impact online. That's 5 Pierce 3.
Well, that's going to be a dead bus, and then I expect he's going to move over and finish off that Mando.
He has to, right? He has to double move into that Mando. Yeah, Pierce 3 on the bus.
Bus is
super
gone.
Dead. And now I would have loved to see him bounce over into that Black Sun and take another swing there. That would have been the hottest play of the weekend. But I tell you what, a double move right here, double speed 1 move into that gal to kill the Mando on the center POI is solid as well.
Yeah.
Yep, that's good play.
I mean, and then just take all of those commandos and just dump everything into the Black Sun.
Yeah, exactly. Just advance with the commandos. You have 3 copies of Katarn intact at most. Those Black Sun can remove a single commando. That is exactly the sort of arithmetic you want when you're advancing into a gun line. Do it. Let's see if Zack's got it. Hopefully Zack not too shook here. Missing his tempted trigger. Most important thing for tournament day, which Zack being a new player, probably has less experience than Tony, most certainly is just being cool. Be cool. Gotta stay cool. You gotta calm, collected. Just keep doing the next right thing, then you'll win. But it's hard to do. You get so tired and you get so defeated, feeling like you're losing miniatures, feeling like you're down on points. But 2.6 is a game of attrition. You gotta hang in there.
So he's still got the double move.
Yes, he still can move twice and attack again.
Yeah.
Feels bad to swing into one miniature. It's sweep and clear, though. Do it. You
So
just
that-
scored your wild,
Right.
score your
well,
contested.
No, he scored the contested this time.
Yeah,
You always score the
that's-
specific.
yeah, that's
you always
true.
score the specific
That's
before
true.
the
And then you
wild.
score your wild. Yeah, you're right. This is why I still lose games, people. So that is, no matter how you slice it, pun intended, that is a good pickup for Anakin.
Oh,
Is this a saber throw? What are we looking at here?
I'm not sure.
Is he saber throwing? Oh, you know what? I think he can't score the POI and engage that Mando.
There are a lot of places
There
where he
has
could.
to be,
there are
right?
a lot of
Yeah.
places where he
No,
could.
I don't
he
know.
could hop over to the other side.
an odd-
He could.
Seems like an odd choice to saber throw there when you have 2 moves and an additional attack available. So Mandos are eating a saber throw here. We've got Pierce online, so
So
Impervious
at
is...
least at least one blank is all he needed to see.
Yep.
So it's quite possible that he just didn't want Anakin
On
to
that
be
side of the
on
objective.
that side of the objective.
Which, hey,
So
that's valid.
moving him back up, clearing him.
He gets cover from Black Sun there.
Yeah, I believe Tony should have also scored. Yes, see, I should. Tony should have also scored another one for clearing off that.
I'm going to go double check what the score is.
Yeah. I believe Tony has scored, for secondaries, Tony has scored both his friendly and his contested. And now Zack has scored contested.
All right, our scoreboard is correct, folks. It is indeed 4-3 in Tony's favor. After that kill on the bus from Zack's Anakin, who then does an immobilized leap onto the central POI with 4 observation tokens and 2 suppression from Gar Saxon's Marked for Death. So I'm not sure where Tony distributes firepower here. I don't know if shooting Anakin is worth it.
I don't think he has enough guns.
I was
going
gonna say, right? I don't think it's worth it. I think he has to go kill arcs and
If he
DP-23s.
if he had thrown the Black Sun at it,
Yes.
yeah, but no,
Tony,
I think
he does have that pike castle in the mid central of like the bottom central board position, and he may be able to get some work done by virtue of volume of fire. But he's out of quality dice. All those Mandos are just gone. He's not going to be rolling good dice. He's rolling garbage dice with tons of aim support, which sometimes can get the job done, but you don't want that to be your first option most of the time. So I think Tony's feeling the pressure. Our players talking through some of their thought process here with their activations as they move through turn 3. Just making sure everybody understands it in agreement as to what the board state is, who's where, who's got what.
shooting with the bus.
Most certainly shooting with the bus. You know, I look at this, I don't know who's in a better position here. I like Anakin always, but Tony is so crafty.
not
it's
a-
not the
not a
roll
good
he
roll.
needed. So the bus taking a shot,
Cover,
and
and
it
it's
bounces on
cover.
cover. The disrespect is real. Oh my gosh.
And so that's good on that single dude. It doesn't surprise me.
Yep, that's so disrespectful. All right, Zack's got a lot of options. He's got face-up commandos. Interesting. Is he going for the bus over Black Sun?
I feel like you gotta ignore the bus.
Yeah,
ignore the bus.
Kill the Black Sun.
Kill the Black Sun.
Don't you dare shoot that bus.
You've
Zack.
got him at range 2.
I know we're both sitting here like, don't you dare shoot that bus. I don't think the bus. Oh, the bus has weak point rear. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, impact like 1,000,000 though on the anti-armor configuration. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it. We're gonna see what the target is.
And whatever he's shooting at, it will be within range. So they will get the crit
certainly.
too.
Those are crits. Recover, shoot. Wow. Okay. So if that's into the bus, that's 8 crits. 7 crits. Yeah, that's a lot of dice.
It does sound like that is into the bus.
That is into the bus, which I don't think is the right target, but we'll see. We're going to find out. Tony, it might save some of this, right? Like, that's what the bus does, man. Yeah. Is that worth it? That could be 3 dead Black Sun. I'm being a hater. Zack's a great player. All right, so Tony does save out with the bus there, saving himself from an immediate breakage. But sheesh, man, 3 copies of Katarn intact feels like a big mountain to climb. The name of the game for Tony may end up being survival, which pikes, that is their specialty, man. Holy smokes, they're slippery. Killing pikes is like the worst.
And I think Tony still, let's see. Let's get rid of the scoreboard, kind of peek around. I think Tony still has two single unit Mandos running around.
Yes, he does. He's got one behind that orange truck and one behind the air traffic tower. And oh my gosh. Oh, that is so frustrating for so many
one's
reasons.
Hanging here.
In a close game, having 200 points of minis fly away with a single wound is just horrible. It's the worst. But all right, we've got Zack mobilizing an activation here. He is looking at, I think, the DP-23 squad in the center of the board. Yeah, he sure is.
Climb up on top of that building and just unload on some pikes.
Yep, he's making sure he can score from there and is then going to put some plunging fire down with Pierce. That is not what you want.
Into that Mando.
Into the Mando.
He's going for the low
Zack.
Mando.
Thank you.
Finish
all right,
that guy
come
off.
on, buddy. We believe. Pierce, impervious, doesn't matter. You send it.
Just volume.
All right, our players just clarifying line of sight here. Who's taking the shot? Who's shooting where?
And who's got cover from
As you
what?
always should.
That's
Holy
a good amount of crits.
Smokes, dude.
2 crits, 3 hits, it looks like, or is that? Or
That's
2
horrifying.
and 2.
I don't think he's got an. He does have an aim to spend here. Look at that. That's a decent conversion. 3 hits, 2 crits. Tony's rolling dice here, no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay, here
So
we go.
5 on 4, I think, is what's going
Come
to
on,
happen here.
Bisca. Oh,
And there's the Mando
there
that goes
it
down.
is. There it is. That's a point for Zack.
So, yep, Zack being able to score his anywhere card will tie up the game.
That's going to bring it to 4-4, guys.
Now,
we
I
have
think
a
the
good game.
advantage. I think the advantage that Tony has is I believe Tony has scored his friendly and his contested, and hasn't scored his.
He hasn't
anywhere
scored
yet.
his wild. Yes. He has not scored his wild. I can double check that though.
Yeah, but. Remember that secondary sweep and clear. You can only score. You got 4 categories. If your attacker is within friendly territory, contested territory, or enemy territory, and then an anywhere territory. And
Yep, that is correct.
Yep.
That is the correct evaluation of the score currently. Tony is in advantage.
For that, with that secondary at least.
Anything he kills anywhere will be a point. Whereas Zack has to be a little bit more selective with his targets.
But those commandos are in a good position. Like if he chooses to finish off that bus, they're sitting in friendly territory, so that would give him a point there.
Absolutely. I think from the firepower perspective, Zack is in a fairly commanding lead. This is a great shot coming in.
Is that into that bus again?
And we got another impact coming in for another 6 on the bus here. Zack is really putting some hate down on it. That's enough.
That's the bus.
Enough. Okay,
that's going to be the bus.
We've got 2.
And the advantage there is that's going to be depending on exactly who was shooting. I didn't quite see who was shooting.
I didn't catch which squad did the shooting either.
But I think
they're in friendly territory.
I think they're in friendly territory,
Yes,
which gives Zack another point. I'll go double check.
We have a very close game here, guys. This is what 2.6 is all about. Okay, we got a Gar Saxon activation. Tony is mobilizing to the edge here. He's got 3 aim tokens to spend from his tactician buses, which are no longer in existence, courtesy of Anakin and the commandos. He does surge to crit. I wonder if Tony's going to go fishing with the red dice. He sure is. Spends that first aim. That's why you do it. Natty crit on white. That's what you like to see, and he'll probably spend that for lethal. Yeah, he's just going to pick off that miniature. That's good. I think it feels bad to have Gar pick up a single model, but if you're running the sniper configuration, that's kind of what he's supposed to do, so I don't hate it.
Looks like Zack might actually be forgetting to mark his secondaries, so I think...
I hope not.
Yeah. Because I think he should be up to 5 now, and he's got sitting there...
I hope Zack is marking his secondaries because the fatigue caught up with him in his first game, and he forgot to mark some of his secondaries there as well. First game today, I should say. But let it be known, Zack has had a fantastic weekend. He's playing great Legion, guys. This is heads-up Legion. We're not criticizing anybody's play here. We got 2 exhausted finalists here in the last 30 minutes of the last game of the weekend for him.
He still has another unit of clone commandos who can take a shot into those Black Sun.
Yeah, Zack is looking in a commanding lead here. Tony is essentially playing a naked pike gun line here with 1 unit of Black Sun to try and redeem this right flank. No matter how this shakes out, we're going to have a new RMO champion. One of those buses being destroyed while unactivated gives Tony a chance to pass while drawing its token. Zack doing a little bit of clarification on who has and hasn't activated here before he contemplates his next unit. Doing a little measuring, trying to determine who is able to go and contest that central VP with him and Anakin up there. Alright, Zack is mobilizing some commandos here, it looks like. Yep.
So the question is, what's your choice for the thing? I feel like you almost take the red piercing, the 4 red pierce rather
shoot
than
Black
the
Sun?
Black Sun.
Oh, I don't think I think the best thing the carbine does is suppressive. Honestly, maybe throw 1 carbine and then 3 red, right? Like it's black, white, suppressive.
Well, then the other question is like flip to the other side and do a. Let's see. What's
I
the
guess that's
profile
true.
on
If
that
you're
one?
gonna recover, it doesn't feel good to use the carbine, right? Yeah. I don't know.
It looks like he is
It's the
gone.
anti-armor. It's anti-armor. Zack is coming in hot. Grenade launchers blow up infantry too, it turns out. All right. One comes off. Oh, I forget that doesn't have blast. How strange. Okay, 4 coming in on Black Sun. They're going to have a surge to spend from their
I think
independent
it's gonna be
Vigo.
5 that hits.
Oh, is that a hit up there?
Yeah. I think,
Okay, I mean,
right.
that's average. That's why you shoot them early and shoot them often. That said, Zack's going to be able to do that a couple more times here. Tony is staying scrappy on these objectives, though.
Oh, this one is the one that has scatter.
Yeah, I think we're seeing that now.
Yeah.
I think Zack is scattering these Black Sun towards Anakin, away from the POI into as much of the open as possible, which is exactly what you want to be doing with scatter. I do believe that is the 3rd activation of commandos, though.
Yeah, that is.
With 2 previous shots going into the bus and this one happening here, I think that's all of Zack's firepower on the right flank.
So I think we're coming to the end of round 3 here.
Yep, I think Tony's got a few capos left to move, and it looks like Zack is going to mobilize this final back line arc to go in, solidify his position in the middle.
I think let's hide our scoreboard here so we can see the pike situation down there.
There's 3 activations
there are
of
3
pikes.
activations of pikes. Two pikes and a capo.
Yes, they're poised to rush onto that central VP and potentially deny Zack some very vital points at this juncture in the game. We'll have to see how bold Tony decides to be. I don't think there's any time for caution here. It doesn't make sense to lose harder. I think looks like he's got the movement there. We'll have to see where our players end up dropping these minis.
But I still think Zack's gonna have the bodies to keep that center point.
Oh, certainly. Tony has to try something though. It being turn 3 though, it feels bad making such a large commitment like that, especially when your opponent has so much firepower on the board and you're just feeding units to Anakin, but objectives matter. Tony trying to estimate some of these threat ranges based on... Oh, no, they want to see if the arcs can get in. Okay. It matters. It's a central VP game. As close the pocket tends to be, we get 1 and 1 on each side and then just POI soup in the middle.
Well, right now, Tony's holding both of the ones on the
Yeah,
on
that's what I mean.
side,
He's got both on the side, so...
Yeah, is that what that was?
Sorry, guys, we're back. Some technical difficulties there. Luckily, our players are entering that contemplative stage of the mid-game where everything is kind of committed to a trajectory and it's whether or not you can afford to deviate. Is this going to win me the game? This is where the fatigue really kicks in.
So at this point, I wonder if Tony says, all right, I can't get the center this time. He holds back, just starts shooting, and then rushes.
Absolutely he will. Tony is a master of that sort of arithmetic when it comes to objectives. He's not going to take even a quarter inch of unnecessary risk.
So I didn't
Not even a
see what
quarter inch.
shot that was. That was probably...
I think he's shooting at the DP-23 squad that hopped up top. Yep. Looks like Tony's now interested in diminishing the next most vulnerable, lowest model count unit, which, much to their chagrin, is that DP-23 clone trooper unit. And clones do lose meaningful firepower every time you drop a miniature. Black dice is not nothing. But Tony's in a deep hole here, guys. There's a lot of clones he needs to kill. It's a lot of brothers. All right, Naked Pike shot 1 coming in hot. Oh, the conversions
2
on
and
Pikes,
2.
man. That's what I'm used to seeing from Pikes.
Okay.
All right, 3 going in from the Naked Pike squad. That, ladies and gents, is value.
Okay, there it goes.
Okay, all right.
Top one is blank, though.
All right, he's got a surge to share somewhere. I'm
Yep.
confident of that.
So he takes another one. That's what those Pikes want to do.
This is
Every
it.
shot,
This is,
every
Tony,
shot, peel
this is
clone.
how he minced me yesterday with these shots. I got, I managed the big stuff, and then these little guys start crawling out of the woodwork and just blasting me. I was like, bro. All right, here we go. We are getting that squad of arcs on the left flank finally mobilizing into the middle. I'm not sure they're going to have any targets of opportunity, but at this point, just taking a strong position to preempt that Pike advance is all Zack needs to really hold on to this. There's a risk of some plunging fire from the Pike contingency, that cohort on the left there. I think there's 2 units and a capo there that are more than capable of dealing their fair share of offensive output. But Zack is fortressing up here, man. I tell you what, Anakin's looking in a good spot. He's up top there. He's got heavy cover from the POI. He's at full health. He's got backup from that DP-23 squad as long as they can keep another suppression token off of him. It's a big hole. It's a big hole.
Yeah. So yeah, you can only score sweep and clear once per round. So
That's correct. That's correct. So both players have scored sweep and clear for this round, so there's no more secondaries that are going to be available, but our contemplation is that in future rounds, Tony is going to have the advantage because his wild space is still available to claim, whereas Zack now must score the contested, or the enemy and friendly columns. Which sometimes requires a little bit more of a careful position with your gun line.
those commandos are very good at doing that, though.
Oh, they're fantastic.
But he might want to say it could be that he wants to mobilize them and just for positional scoring rather than killing
exactly.
score.
Yep. At this point, dice may have less of an effect on the game than where you're standing.
We've got just under 20 minutes left in regular time.
I think our players are moving at a decent enough clip that we should be able to start turn 5. I sure hope that's the case, but we will see. By the way, guys, we have our runner-up match between Dustin and Chris happening right now, the winner of which will receive the 3rd place trophy for RMO. Interesting. I would not have expected the pikes to come down, but Tony, sensing the urgency on the middle point, is now throwing absolutely everything he has, seeing that Zack is no longer committing to contesting or trying to inflict any amount of attrition on his leftmost cohort of pikes.
I think we are going to where they are scoring the end of the round, and it's going to be another.
All right, I think we've counted bodies here. We're removing suppression, and
2-2.
we are going up points 2-2. I agree
I'm just
with
going to
that.
double check what
Yeah,
they've got on
definitely.
their
We're going to
score.
slide over to the table real quickly, guys, just so we can double check game state, and we'll return very shortly.
Just hit the button and it just accidentally scored, but it should have been paused.
I almost feel like for these later games, we ought to just have a scorekeeper. It's so hard keeping track of everything when you're so tired, and you just played so much Legion, and all the games start to blend together. I feel like we should just have a TO go over and mark that stuff in the future, maybe. Now the games go up to 10 plus VPs as opposed to the 5 or 6 that they would top out at in old Legion.
Yeah, they got their scoreboard, so they're looking at 5-6 right now in Tony's favor.
Okay, guys, we have just got our official table update from our players, and it is 5-6 in favor of our Shadow Collective player, Tony Hunter, going into turn 4. That is not as of a commanding lead as I think he wants to have going into the late game here. This is a tight one.
Mm-hmm.
This is a crazy tight game.
Yeah, I did. I think I gave him let me look. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I gave him pretty sure I gave him I don't know.
Sorry, guys. I'm notorious for stealing things from people when we play Legion and or set up tables, so I had apparently stolen some of Steven's Range Rulers. All right, both of our players are taking a small breather here before we start turn 4. I'm not sure if they're aware of the constraints of the clock, but it seems both players have agreed to take a short break here to gather themselves as we move into the last third of this championship game. Overall, I think Tony has been pretty effective at executing his strategy in terms of getting onto objectives early and accomplishing that. I don't think he had too much trouble with, but Zack has just weathered the storm. All 3 copies of Commando Katarn being intact. I feel like he's lost so fewer activations compared to Tony. Both buses are down. There's a dead squad of Mandalorians. It's trouble out here. Okay, so we are seeing Victory or Death against Ambush. Victory or Death is Gar Saxon's steroid card for his Mandalorian friends. So he just buffs up nearby Mandalorians. It'd be great if they weren't already all dead. Long live the Empire. JK. Ambush comes out on Anakin, which I think is no surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anakin no longer has burst of speed and no force push, but is still an absolute missile. The real question is how willing is Zack to move Anakin off of the central POI? And I can't stress enough how surprised I am that these Black Sun are alive on turn 4 of this game. So Tony has 4 squads of pikes still, I believe. I don't think Zack has removed any squads of pikes. 4 models of Black Sun, 2 capos, and Gar Saxon left to win this game.
And a lone Mando hanging out there.
And 2 squads of 1 Mandalorian.
No. He's only got the one left.
Does he only have 1? Okay.
Right.
Oh, that's right. The other one got shot
the
by
other
the
one by the DB
That's
squad.
correct. Yep. So there's 1 Mandalorian left who is just shaking in her boots. That gal is not going to come out.
Hiding under this border token right there.
She's doing everything within her power to save her Mandalorian butt.
But that means that it's just another scoring unit on that right squad there.
Honestly, like, these commandos are just an absolute firing line, dude. What an execution squad. Like, there's nothing that can stand on that POI. These poor Black Sun. I think both of our players here just clarifying some positioning through scatter terrain, both being comfortable with replacing that terrain in its original position.
We're seeing a shot. That looks like a commando shot
This
into
does
Black
look-
Sun.
Yes, it does. Man, commandos are good.
Uh-huh. They still feel a little expensive to me,
They
but
do.
but they're fun.
Yeah, they're awesome, and I appreciate the expensive costs because like
Cover gives him 1, and he's rolling on 5.
5 for Black
5
Sun.
for Black Sun.
That's not what Black Sun want. He will have an independent search to spend here.
That's
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Loses 1. Down to 3 on that model. On that unit.
I think at this point Tony would love to get those Black Sun out of the bag here and just get one last parting shot before these remaining commandos have anything to say about it.
Yeah. Moving those commandos down. If they make it to turn 5, though, that'll matter. But
yeah, absolutely. But you know, I'm not sure.
I don't think they're gonna make it.
Yeah, I don't commit. Yeah. I don't think I commit there. But hey, I know by this time in the day, after 5 games of Legion, my brain is just toilet bowling. So tactical decision making goes out the window, and it's almost like just let this game end, man. Let it end. But both of these players had a very difficult path to victory all weekend. Very tough matchups for both players. And we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. The nitty-gritty of the late game. How screwed am I? Okay, look at this. So Zack thinking about shifting some forces onto the right.
So Tony, yes, Tony.
Oh, Tony. Okay, so he's scoping out.
He's got his Black Sun going right now, and it looks like he's gonna move over and try to put some firepower onto that center point, which totally makes sense.
That's the right thing to do.
Because he can still score another off of sweep and clear, and.
Yeah. And then mitigate scoring in mid, right? That's the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're reaching 10 minutes in our regulation time here for our players. By the way, our finalists, all 4 of our finalists today, our top 4 games have been using chess clocks. So both these players are going to be pretty aware of how much time they have remaining.
Mm-hmm.
All right, looks like Tony's cooking up an activation here. Taking that Black Sun shot. We'll get our dice here for you guys. It's a great Black
it's
Sun.
a good shot for considering there are that many left.
Holy moly. So 5 coming in. Coming in on the clones here. Let's see. Oh, wow.
That's
a wipe.
That looks like the squad.
That's a wipe. Oh my gosh. This is why you kill Black Sun.
Yeah.
This is why you kill the Black Sun.
And Tony is marking his anywhere now.
Oh my goodness. That is a massive swing.
That is a big
swing. Hopefully Zack can watch this back and hear us say kill the Black Sun 1,000 times. Especially when there's only one.
I mean, those buses, they're big and they're annoying,
yes,
but they don't do much damage.
They don't do a lot, exactly. The trick with the buses is avoiding a front-facing engagement where they're your only targets, right? Like if your opponent wants to do that, you need to go wide. You have to find flanks that they can't cover with that bus, because if they're shooting the bus, you're doing what they want. I guarantee it.
So I missed what attacked, but Tony just picked up 2 more Black Sun.
It was 2 red. So I would go ahead and suspect that is...
That
2 red dice. Oh, you know what that was?
Oh, that was tempted. He remembered tempted this time.
Oh, he
that was attempted.
Attempted saber throw.
Saber throw.
Fantastic. Well done, Zack.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah. Getting burned on missing one earlier in the game. I'm sure you guys picked up on that. Zack is now being extremely vigilant with his opportunities to use his Tempted proc. It's one of the best things Anakin has going for him. Don't forget your Tempted, folks. As critical as I've been of Zack's target selection this game, he has done an excellent job of whittling down Tony's firepower. Despite the Black Sun still being alive, Tony is basically winning this game with pikes. If it's going to happen, it's going to be on the back of the fish.
So it looks like he's scooting some clones over there to try to finish off that last Black Sun, but I'm
not sure.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think you're exposing yourself to Gar heavily. You're going to be shot by Gar in the open there.
But he is moving away from the pikes.
Okay, so he wants to shoot the DP-23, staying in that range 2 sweet spot.
The main thing is, actually, I think he does still have an anywhere that he can score.
Well, if he can, he does have the arcs with that DP-23 squad in behind the central VP. He does have that arcs.
Yeah, no, this makes sense. This makes sense.
Yeah, if he can preempt, or if he can hold out before till after the pikes go, that's a lot of damage.
We saw a decent shot. Cover didn't do anything, and the Pierce clears that last pike, or not the last pike, the last Black Sun. So there's that Black Sun, and so yeah, we do get another mark on the sweep and clear.
Well done, Zack. That's an important objective, and a very important point for Zack to score.
So it is now 6-7, and what's cool now is Tony only has two guys over on this side that
are even capable of being eligible for secondary. Yeah.
Well, no, that can even scoring this point now.
Oh yeah.
Is at a point where if he pulls them over, he can just march multiple. He's got two
units there, right?
Units that can march in, and one too many control Z's there.
It's a precarious situation here for both players.
Yeah.
Okay, Tony going with a single.
We've still got this unit and this unit.
Yeah, that squad
holding in there.
Actually, the DP-23 unit shot. This one, that's the
right. I'm just looking at scoring. So we've got three scoring in here.
Definitely.
Tony, I think, has the potential this turn because. Unless they play very fast, this is going to be the end of the game.
Yeah, we'll see. We may get.
I'll get a double check on the official time.
I was going to say we may be able to finagle an extension here. We'll have to consult with our TO.
Because this point,
if the game ends on this turn, that's big.
If the game ends on this turn, right now it's looking at 3-1.
3-1, exactly. Yeah.
Or at least 2-. Or actually, I think it's going to be 2-1 since I think they're going to tie on this one.
It'll be 2-2 because that commando squad activated. The middle one activated.
Yeah. So 2-2 scoring here, meaning 2-1, and then nobody scores this one.
Yes. Which is a.
Or is this? I think he's.
That would be kill points.
I think he's taking a cheeky shot onto that. Onto that last Mando. I think he found a shot onto that Mando.
All right, Zack's cooking.
Measuring for use of Surge Token. And yes, Surge Token.
Here we go. All right.
So 4 into cover.
Zack's got a big angle here. Let's see if cover and a dodge can pull through.
4 into cover. One takes away. And then does look like they got a dodge.
It all comes down to the best guy.
So we're down to 2 reds and.
All right, this is a big roll. Come on, Beskar.
Beskar
the
pulls
disrespect.
Through. What's our official time? Can you... Oh, so it's.
We're going to go ahead, and our TO has just confirmed that our players' official time, not the stream time that we have estimated here, is actually indicated on their clocks. So there's a good chance they have a very good sense of how much time they have remaining. Okay.
Really? Okay. So so there is no single overall round timer going. Okay. Okay.
Pass everything. Pass everything.
Okay.
So we just got confirmation from RTO that there's about 10 minutes left in official time here. So it does look like,
So
as long as our players start their final round in the next 10 minutes, we will be playing 5 rounds of Legion.
So the clarification is that we are not using an overall round timer. It's just the time that is showing on the clock, the play clock that they're using.
You can see the top of the clock. You can't see the actual time.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
And so it looks like so I think they both have over 10 minutes. So yes, they are going to get to the next round. So I'm just pausing. We're just going to ignore that time. That time. We don't have time.
Yeah,
we don't
guys,
have a good time.
this being the final, we're just going to let these players scrap it out until we've got somebody on top.
Yeah.
That's what the people want. We got Zack here. Shout out to Zack. Shout out to Zack on the stream. He doesn't want to say what's up. All right, before orders come out on turn 5. The players just wrapping up their activations here. The late game, you have less stuff, but you still need to be sharp with where you're sending it and who you're shooting. This is a great shot coming in here from somebody.
And is that going into the pikes?
Going into pikes. Oh,
Possibly.
wow, what a
that
reroll.
looks like what he's got.
Commandos, huh?
Or I'm not sure who's shooting.
This must be a commando pool into Gar. I would assume it's the commandos on the starship.
I think it's the central DP guys down into the pikes. The guys that just
did they just eschew
They just hopped up and are shooting down here, I think.
Oh, so did they not shoot the DP? Interesting. Okay.
Those are arcs. The DP
my
squad.
gosh, the arcs.
DP
Of
squad.
course,
The DP
the
squad
arcs.
shot into the.
That's right. I forgot the arcs are on that flank. Yeah, man, arcs are good. Arcs are horrifying. Okay. Those arcs come in, do some damage.
Yep, taken off.
Tony with the danger sense gets 2 blocks.
And
looks like we have a rally coming in from some pikes down below in the mid-central board.
And they failed to rally, so
one action,
but it looks like he is going to be able to get there on one action.
I think Tony zoned that appropriately and is going to be able to.
Or is that the capo? Or is it just one dude left?
I can go and confirm.
Looks like it's a squad of one guy left.
Okay, there is a capo in the mid-board, and then that is, in fact, the second capo on the far left side of the board by the blue starship that's in position to contest that far left. So we have 2 pikes here on the left flank.
Yep,
and
one of them's already gone. One of them could score.
A pike and a capo here, and that's a lone man.
And that's a lone dude here.
So we have a lot of activations here.
So there are 2 activations here. So there's 2 things here that could score. One thing here that is scoring, and one over here. So Tony has the potential to get 4 on there. But we do have 3 over here, and Anakin is gonna kill one.
Anakin will most certainly kill one of them. But man, I tell you what, force push to get another one off would be so
amazing.
It'd be so clutch. But it's 40 points to do that. So I pay for it. I pay for force push. Okay. We're seeing. We're seeing a shot here. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to surmise what could be throwing these dice.
Mm-hmm. What's throwing black and...
We have no more Black Sun. Yeah,
Right, Black
I'm
Sun are
not
dead.
sure what this is. Zach
Well,
is
whatever
rolling
it is,
Zach's
a very
rolling a
good-
save. Yeah, that was a good
It's
roll.
a very good roll for the save, so...
Not sure what that was, guys. Sorry. We'll have to see where Zach removes any miniatures, if at all.
Was that...
Perhaps that was... Oh, you know what? I bet that was a Saxon
A Gar
flamethrower
Saxon...
with the pistol. No, there was no red dice in there. I have no idea what that was, guys. But Zach reading the board here, just throwing commandos onto that point.
Yeah, so looks like he's going to tie that up 2-2. So...
Going into 5, I don't think anybody will score the right POI. Tony has a face-up order on the capo on the left, so he will most certainly secure that. And here we go. Here comes the March of the Fish. They're all just going to walk onto this POI and say, do something about it. And this is where Tony's activation count really pays dividends in the late game. Unless you distribute your firepower extremely efficiently, it's so hard to just stop these units from walking up the board. And Tony being very contemplative with his miniatures, setting up what looks like to be a tactical conga line. Getting ready to potentially zone out some clones.
I feel like, so we've still got Anakin to go.
Anakin is just such a wild card. And you know what? I have no read on what Zach wants to do with him. I mean, I just murder stuff, but...
I think, so if I'm reading this
I
right...
don't think you take Anakin off the middle POI.
Right,
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Zach's on board. Yep, he knows.
So he's going down there, and just for scoring purposes, like, Tony has more fish to bring to that. So I think he's just gonna
You
wipe
kill
the squad.
one.
As you hate to use Anakin to
Yep.
kill one, but it's wiping a squad.
Yep, you kill one thing.
And then that's gonna tie up the that thing's so dead.
Yes, super dead capo.
Very dead. So that thing is going to, I think they're gonna be 3-3 on the middle.
Which would be massive. For Tony to go up 1 point here would be massive.
Mm-hmm. But next turn,
Zack has such an overwhelming firepower advantage that he's going to have a hard time securing. Tony will have a hard time contesting middle for sure.
And the right side.
Yes.
So if Tony gets an extra point, gets up a point here, I think that's the best he can do. But I think Zack is going to have.
Zack has a very clear path to victory here.
I think Zack is going to have is going to score 3 points next time.
Yep, exactly. Yep, 3 points on primary on turn 5.
And then Tony would score 1, which would tie it up at that point, taking it to kill points. And
it's almost certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Shadow Collective have suffered enormous losses in order to secure whatever it is on these points of interest. But Tony, as always, staying scrappy, is moving his stuff onto the POI.
Yeah. So Tony goes up 1 point.
Yeah. Tony just with a quick final activation to go and claim that last objective here, and we are going up to 8 points for our Republic player, or our Shadow Collective player. And neither the central nor the rightmost VP score, as both players have contested the POI with an equal number of units. That's very important.
I'm going to go do some scouting.
Yeah, for Tony at this juncture. All right, guys, our players are going ahead and wrapping up that end phase for turn 4, and we're going to get the final command cards for the RMO finals imminently. Zack has a plan. Card is out. He knows what he wants. Zack smells blood in the water. Currently down on objectives, but postured brilliantly for a strong turn 5. And we get the card reveal. We have push against the Saxon 2-pip. Sorry, guys, don't know the name. So we have a tie. We have a tie for priority on turn 5 here. It goes red. That's going to be Zack with priority here. I'm sure he loves that. I'm sure that's what he wanted to see. He's got so many things that can just do good stuff right now. He's got a lot of shooters. He's got Anakin. Looks like Zack is opting for orders on a clone commando squad, an ARC trooper squad, and has maybe gone ahead and popped an HQ uplink to get a 3rd order on a 2nd commando squad. Our players have made their decisions for their orders on the last round of the game here. Saxon getting the benefit of 2 dodge tokens here from the card and defend 1. And independent dodges galore. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Jeez, I'm glad I'm not one of these 2 players. This is so stressful.
This is coming down.
Yeah, this is, oh man. I love this game, but it's taken years off my life. Yep, Gar has defend 1, like all Mandos, or Shadow Collective Mandos, I'm pretty sure, and gets an additional dodge from the card. So 2 dodges on Gar here and a face-up, but Tony, I mean, he decided not to issue the other 2 orders.
Well, he cannot issue order beyond range 1 for this card.
Oh, okay. I wonder why it's stipulated that way. I think he just wants him to be close to the Mandos. All right, Zack doing some careful measuring here on the mid POI. We're getting the final positioning for a squad of ARC troopers that are going to leap off this building and just give these pikes the hands. He's engaging with them. I'm not sure that's the right pick. I think you move and take the shot with the tactical, because then if you don't kill him.
Yeah, you need to choose one and shoot everything.
Yes, what if you don't kill him? It's okay. Zack might be learning the hard way.
Or, I mean, the difficult part, though, is if you pick one, shoot it, and don't kill it, then that gives Tony the opportunity to
move into engagement.
With
Yep.
what he just did. So,
Well, Zack's dice are having none of that. Holy moly. It looks better than it is, though. A surge is going to fall off. But that is just... That's arcs in a nutshell, man. They are just so good. 8 coming in on pikes. They're going to be in melee. Tony will have an independent dodge to spend, but he needs a good save. And that's not it.
that does take the score.
That's not it. That's the arc special right there. We're going to show up and give you the hands. Okay, so Tony's got a little bit more arithmetic to do here. Yeah, that was a wipe. Huge swing. Yep, big swing.
That's very big for him.
That was a big swing there. That's what Zax needs. A lot of hits. Tactical.
I see. I'm not sure if his Mandos and his...
I want to go look, but I know both these players are in the depths of tactical analysis. I don't want to distract anybody. We'll get the down low in a few minutes once these players wrap up. But what a finals. What a finals. Shadow Collective in the finals. You heard that right, people.
Looks like he is withdrawing.
Is this with Saxon?
It's either Saxon or the single Mando left.
That's an interesting decision.
Well, he's got...
Ah, I see. He wants to.
The problem is he cannot contest that far right point. So now he's hoping to
He's committing to the 2 for the
draw
middle.
to that center and hoping that
So Tony, with the cunning play there, withdraws. He cannot move back into melee with that second move, but he's just going to do a speed 3 move to find a little sweet spot there and say, oh, you're not touching me, but I'm on the POI. Okay, that's one more thing that Zack needs to shoot.
well, he does have these clones that could potentially the commandos could potentially
Oh,
over to the
he has more than enough firepower to make it happen. It's just how it's distributed, and if Tony can manage to tie up enough of these shooters on turn 6.
It's a risky move. He's moving into base contact with that commando. It looks like or was he already in base contact and now since last Saxon?
Okay, I think Zack's going to go ahead and swing with the Katarn blades in melee. Yeah, I was going to say, these blades need to show up for work today. I think he's going to proc the crit. He's got plenty of aims. The Republic tech is coming through. Zack has preserved his units excellently. He's coming through with just so many bodies.
That's a lot of dice, but if Tony rolls this off, it could very well be Tony's game.
It's massive. This is the most Beskar save I've ever seen in my life. Don't you dare, Tony. Oh, that's more
Yes.
than enough.
Man, my headset turned itself off again.
That's not the roll you want to see for Mandos.
So that,
That almost certainly cleans up that unit.
yeah, there was only one of them left.
So that leaves
Or is-
Gar
was that-
Saxon
Or
trying
was
to
that
contest.
was that Gar Saxon there, or
I think
I
that
gotta
was
go
the
check.
move. Yeah. Both of our players really getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Really double-checking ranges on POIs, double-checking.
So yeah, he just punched Gar Saxon, and it was the lone Mando that ran over to the center point.
So Saxon's alive.
Saxon's
with 2.
alive.
Saxon
and
takes 4 damage from the Katarn blades there, which is not nothing, but he should be safe. And Zack just needs to walk onto the POI here.
I feel
I'm not sure. This is where I still struggle. You know, the fatigue, you lose sight of your win con.
I think those commandos need to shoot over and wipe some of those units.
Tony is absolutely going to flood that mid board, right?
Like, I think if both of these guys can score while shooting and clearing up the capo
the Mando
here
and the capo,
and the Mando,
right? Yeah, it's huge.
then I think that's the win condition. Because
I think Zack is correctly
he's-
identifying that,
or it just looks like he's choosing instead to double move to
which I don't hate. It's
yeah.
I don't know. That's
If he can get there, it's going to be close.
less bandwidth. Tony's going to help him out. Players reaching a consensus.
Looks like he's got it,
I
but
think Zack's scoring. Okay. Eschewing an attack with the commandos on the turn 5 to... Sorry, guys, our UI is not updated. This is turn 5.
yeah,
No.
that's my bad.
No, we're good. The commandos eschewing their last opportunity to attack to double move onto the central POI. Zack is pivoting to playing the numbers game, and he has enough bodies to make it work. I don't disagree with Xander's evaluation that a shot onto that scoring Mando or Capo could be game deciding, though. And here goes Tony, being crafty with the pikes. I think he wants to come over and engage the arcs and remain in scoring position.
Mm-hmm.
Pikes are no slouch in melee. They roll 2 white. Looks like Tony's instead opting to not engage the miniature. And it's
Is he
just
choosing to,
is just consolidating his position.
or is he running into Anakin instead?
Is Anakin there?
Anakin is there. It looks like he just dodged. It looks like he dodged and based Anakin.
That's interesting. Anakin doesn't have push, so I guess you can dictate where the attack is going.
He's
I
trying
think
to
Zack's,
see.
I think Zack's going to try and make this DP23 have something to say about it. Both these players dancing around this middle POI here, trying to neutralize as much of their opponent's scoring capability as possible here. This is just so stressful. This is where those melee superiority units like those arcs, if you can preserve those bodies, they can come in and do exactly what they did. Just huge POI swing. Get on it and take one off. Zack definitely bought himself some breathing room with that arc. Remaining contemplative with the DP23.
So I've realized, I think he's decided that he can't get there, so he's going to cohere up to the top there and shoot at those pikes that are going to be trying to score.
Sure. I don't think Tony hates it. Suppression could matter, which is spooky. All right, here's our DP23 shot. It is not what the clones wanted to see.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I think Zack's hunting for a surge to spend anywhere. He finds one. He finds two. They must have had one.
Yeah, I think the
All right. Pikes dodge one, and it's going to be two coming in with Pierce one. It's going to be a dead fish, no matter how you slice it. Two dead fish.
but is still going to hang
He's
on
still
with
gonna
one
get it
model.
with one mini. Oh my God!
So it's really that suppression. He needs him to fail that suppression.
It's so stressful. If these pikes don't rally, that's big.
And he
All right,
pulls him.
here we go.
So we get to see.
Here we go. This is huge.
No! I
okay.
think that means
Tony.
that pike is not scoring.
Yes, that pike is gonna be out. That was a clutch shot from the DP23. Tony's now contemplating moving him the other way. I'm not sure
Yeah,
what
he
kind of
said if he can't score,
Can't
he's just
score.
not going to die.
Yep, just don't
He's
lose
points.
the mini.
He's worth points.
Don't lose the mini. Great shot from Zack. Good heads up Legion there.
So
Knowing
it
what
is hard
Tony
to
needs.
see what the actual. So we've got one pike unit,
Maybe Anakin
this
just
is
swung into
Anakin.
pikes.
and that's a lot.
That's going to be 3 Pierce 3, but they'll be alive with 1 because they can dodge 2. And they're alive. Oh no. Oh, that's so frustrating. I feel that in my soul.
So we're looking at
So
So
Anakin's last activation fails to even remove a squad from the POI.
So we've
Ladies and
got-
gentlemen, this is why you pay for force push.
this is where you've got a pike here, a pike here, and
Mando.
a Mando here.
Mando there. And
So
Zack
it's-
has Commando, DP23, Arc, Anakin.
So it's currently
4 to 3.
4-3.
And I don't think Tony can score it. Zack is indeed just making sure that this last squad of commandos can't pile on to
So
that last
I
POI.
think he's got to move up and take a shot into the
Mando.
that
The
Mando.
Pike. Oh, is it the Mando or the Pike?
Well, I think the pike is engaged, but since the Mando
Oh,
withdrew, he couldn't engage.
Yes, the Mando withdrew. Yep. So she's out there.
Unless-
It
did
all
they
is going
not?
to come down to Beskar. Tony, I think, is coming down to the end of his activations. Is gonna start
I'm
pulling
not-
stuff that Zack has removed this round. And we got it. We got it, guys. I think we're winding down.
I'm not sure why those commandos aren't shooting at that.
I think Zack doesn't
Man.
see it. I don't think Zack sees it. I think he just wants to be on the POI.
Because the Mando did withdraw.
The Mando, yes, the Mandalorian in the central position performed a withdraw and then a
Yeah.
speed 3 move to beeline onto the objective. Is this Gar Saxon withdrawing?
Yeah, Gar Saxon withdrawing and checking
Tony,
on.
you crafty dog.
And what I don't think he's.
I think Zack may have body blocked him.
Well, the difficulty though is even if Gar Saxon can't score, he can probably pull that. He might be able to engage, so he can pull that leader off of
Oh
scoring.
my goodness. Oh, no, you're right. The leader's in back. Oh, no. All right, Tony. Okay, he's just going to go engage.
Oh, right. Well, it's a withdraw, so he can't engage.
Yes, just going to stay safe. All right, guys.
So they're calling it there.
I think our players have agreed that's the final relevant activation of the game, and we're just waiting on some arithmetic.
All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
So nobody's going to score the middle. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh, guys.
Where was that? Yeah, okay. So they're scoring it there. So it's going to be 1-1. So the end is going to be 9-7.
9-7 to Tony. Guys, that is our tentative final score for the RMO final here. We're going to wait for confirmation from our players. But based on what we can see here, Tony is the 2025 RMO champion. Congratulations, Tony, with Shadow Collective, dude. That is awesome. What a fantastic game. Tony staying scrappy till the end. I tell you what, he's been winning games on positioning all weekend. He just front loads that firepower, and then the rest of the game you spend chasing around pikes and lone mandos and whatever he wants, and this is what he does. Well done, Tony. Zack played a fantastic game, played a fantastic weekend. Like we said, he's one of our newer players to come out and join in, so making it to the RMO finals, taking down Dustin along the way. Zack's going to be a player to watch, guys. He's going to be a player to watch. Still just waiting for confirmation from the table on our final score, but we're thinking this is it, guys.
So that was it. He couldn't shoot the Mando because the weapons were tapped.
Okay, guys, there we go. I'm sure you heard Xander, but yeah, the shot that we were envisioning could not occur because the commandos needed a recover. And they were going to be out of range with their carbines, and so they instead opted to just move on to the objective. So, a little bit of action economy trouble there, hitting the clones.
That is that's the real difficulty of when it comes down to the end game. Being a little out activated and having to go first is just right, because now he's got 2 on the side point and he doesn't need 2 over here.
Yes, and it's so hard to see that. It's so hard to know. And I've actually been struggling with that a lot in 2.6.
That's the thing, though. If he pulls more over, then Gar Saxon stays over here.
Yes, that's what I mean. Tony
and keeps him from scoring here.
He's so crafty, and that's where I think Gar Saxon has a lot. There's a lot of virtues there, guys. Speed 3 on a jetpack commander.
That's the thing.
Fast.
Even though he's only behind 2 points, he needed to score both the middle and the side.
Yes.
And
I think Zack incorrectly evaluated that, and Tony just got him to scramble just enough to misdistribute his forces on this last turn and
that's the thing. I don't think it was a misdistribute necessarily. Just like he just didn't have, because Tony had the option to respond to whatever he did.
Yes, with the face up on Gar Saxon.
Yeah.
This is why Tony's one of the best guys. He's been playing since day one, kicked my butt lots of times.
Good job to both of them. I still think you should have shot more Black Sun. But
Zack, when you watch this back, dude,
we love you.
We love you. No, you should shoot the Black Sun. Oh, man. Like I said, guys, player to watch. Fantastic games. It was a great weekend. And we have a few doubles games wrapping up. And we should be able to announce our third place winner as well between Chris and Dustin. Dustin, guys, no surprise. Dustin had a great finish in Worlds 2 years ago. Consistently proves himself to be one of the best players in 5280, if not the world. Guys, we had a great finish this weekend. We had Dustin in third, Dustin Groward in third, Zack Gibbs in second, and Tony Hunter taking the cup. Rocky Mountain Open champion 2025. Congratulations to Tony.